himself a crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
It's time for the crossover, brought to you by Everlook Concrete Repair at Omaha at everlookconcrete.com.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
What's going on here?
I'm sorry. I was terribly wrong. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
I walk in the door today and I get a very antagonizing question.
Not antagonizing. I don't know.
It's a very personal question.
Look, I don't know how to read. Okay. I thought there was a comma. There wasn't a comma. I went back and I reread the tweet because I read the tweet when I was walking to my car. And I thought your tweet was.
I was listening to your show. It was a great show.
Thank you.
And someone called in about how Judd Davies had helped them out with the procedure.
Yes.
And I thought that was a great call. And that's what I said.
And you tweeted, I got a vasectomy from Judd Davies. Guy is an all-timer. And I read it as you saying, I got a vasectomy from Judd Davies. Judd Davies is an all-timer. You were just communicating the guy who got a vasectomy from Judd Davies was an all-timer.
So maybe I should have capitalized the G.
I'm just gonna be honest here.
I did not.
No.
I did not get that.
Connor.
I did not get that.
Connor, totally my fault. Okay?
It's okay.
I'm an idiot.
Set the record straight.
I'm an idiot. You don't. I was hoping your wife wasn't listening to our show when we might have revealed that you had a vasectomy that you didn't get.
Might have revealed.
Once again, she would be the first to know. She might know before I.
You know what? Most times it's the wife that sends you to go get it taken care of.
So she's good. And that procedure has not taken place.
But imagine this.
I wish I read the tweet live on the show and you to freak out and have me realize.
No, he's not freaking out.
No. You freak out.
No, because I said, I think he tweeted at you. He was repeating the caller. And you're like, nope, he tweeted at me. He told me he had a vasectomy. I go, just you?
Gary, you got it exactly right. Perfectly correct.
But think about this.
You are looking at me with disappointed eyes.
It's
like
okay.
the conversation on air. How cool is that, though, that if you're a diehard Husker fan, like that procedure is done by a former Nebraska fullback.
I got a message after that.
Hey, if you're interested,
just a good story from a listener of I don't know that I want to share the details of the story,
of which there are many.
Of which I read these messages to Josh earlier. There are some details in here. I'm not sure if I'll share it. I don't think I'll share it probably, but this person can vouch for Dr. Davies.
Did they have a good experience?
Dr. Judd Davies, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Snip, snap, sip, snap.
No, there was no snap.
Just snips?
Just one. Yep.
Mm-hmm. You don't know that.
According to this. Yeah. According to this person. So apparently it's he comes highly recommended. I wouldn't know because I've never been interested in that.
Prove it.
So far.
How would you?
I don't know. Yeah.
Conceive a child right here. Right now. Go.
I can't read. I can't read.
That's okay, Matt. You'll learn how to read one day.
I feel bad. I just don't mean to slander you. And just tell
it's not slander.
Omaha that you got snapped when you didn't get snipped.
I'm not going
to get a vasectomy.
You're a Big Red Overreaction co-host.
Yes. He did.
But not from Judd Davies.
Yes. Not from Judd Davies.
Yes.
From a different guy.
I did not know that about Josh.
Great show, guys. I loved the show. I listened. Hey. I was amazed that you guys were on the radio for so long.
Josh was having the time of his life. He didn't want to get off the air.
Wow.
But I was.
Whoa. What time did the show end?
They went 2 hours.
Okay. Yeah. The minimum.
No. Whoa. Minimum. After 68-0? Hey.
2 hours?
Equitable Bank, No Name Nutrition. Love you. Boom.
There were so many.
I saw the recon sheet.
Hey, but as long as drunk people are calling in, just stay on air. Drunk people after a 68-0 loss, awful. No. After a win, the more the merrier.
It was great. It was very nice. It was an uplifting show. I thought
it was fun.
Yeah, it was
just so much fun.
Yeah,
it was a great time. We were drinking beers. It was enjoyable. We were.
The hosts
We had one beer.
Watching,
Oh my!
We had
watching
one
UCLA get waxed.
Yes. Josh, I brought Josh beer because I was like, hey, it was just like, hey man, like, here are a couple brewskis,
What an
just
olive
have a good time,
branch.
we'll have fun. And he goes, oh, okay, cool. Like, what'd you bring? And I brought Miller Lite, and his, uppity butt was like, you brought light beer? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't bring, your IPA Voodoo Ranger that tastes like bark and orange. Okay, my apologies. He got all fancy about his beer.
Isn't there good craft beer in the fridge?
There's great craft beer. He just went over there and he grabbed a couple.
Yeah,
and he grabbed the Cornhusker Lager, and that's what he drank. I just felt offended.
Was it easier to go into our fridge and get beer than Memorial Stadium?
Yes, it was much easier.
That might be the easiest way to get beer.
I just felt offended that he thought that he was so much better than Miller Lite. You're not better than Miller Lite.
When you're just having one, though, you're just having one-ish.
I love him though. I think that's my number one beer.
I'd like to have 10 Miller Lights.
See, wouldn't we all?
But like one Miller Lite, I don't know. Maybe not so much.
How about 12 Miller Lights?
12 Miller
You
Lights.
can get Miller Lite wherever.
God,
Why not change it up?
what do you mean?
It's triple hops brewed.
Why would I fix something if it ain't broke? It ain't broke. Ain't nothing broke about Miller Lite. Just
You know
drink
what?
it.
You're celebrating 68-0. Have a special beer. Miller Lite is more like a 42-7. But once it gets to 68-0, go fancy.
What type of beer is best to drink when you're up 68 points?
Cornhusker Crusher.
Oh, okay. That wasn't meant to be an ad or anything.
You know what? I wonder.
That's not one of our titles.
We'd have to search for this and ask.
But they
people,
keep bringing us stuff.
They do the best.
Hey, wouldn't you
Bobby
like
Cross.
to know the breakdown on how many beers were sold and which ones sold the best?
Yes, desperately.
I would love that
Do
information.
you think they will release that information at the end of the year?
Not a chance.
I don't think so. Maybe you could find it in a Foyer somewhere.
Ooh, I love a Foyer.
Oh, that's.
Should we do our
Hey.
first ever Foyer?
Have we? You've never Foyered before?
Absolutely not. It costs money.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
So
been-
clearly you've never Foyered.
No, I've never personally Foyered, but I've been with people who have Foyered.
Why would I do a Foyer? I'm not a journalist.
I just think it's cool when you're like, yeah, we did a Foyer.
I noticed.
Sweet flex.
You know,
Yeah,
one that I
seriously.
think will end up being pretty high. Mick Ultra.
Oh yeah, people are loving that.
Yeah.
Mick Ultra is making a little bit of comeback.
Oh
in
yeah,
beers.
they're super back. People are.
But I saw a
Mick-
lot of people in the stands with Mick Ultra.
People are drinking Mick
Mick-
Ultra.
Are
for
we
sure.
sponsored by Mick Ultra here at the station?
I don't
think so.
Okay, it sucks. That's
Whoa.
a terrible beer. That's an awful beer. It is water. I don't understand how anybody is ever like, yeah, I want a beer right now. Let me get a Mick Ultra.
That's what Jimmy says. No gut aches with the Mick Ultra.
Yeah, it's one less calorie than the great tasting, less filling, 96 calorie, 3.2 carb Miller Lite.
Wow. Are we sponsored by them?
I want to be. That's my dream one day.
Okay.
According to Landman, you know what? If you're a recovering alcoholic, Mick Ultra is the beer for you.
Oh, well, they don't count according to Landman.
Yes.
Wean you off of this stuff.
Oh, is that
Yes.
his bit?
Yes.
Okay. That's-
The bartender was like, hey, what do you want anything to drink? He goes, I don't drink. And he was drinking a Mick Ultra.
That's funny.
And he was like, no, I don't drink. This doesn't count. It's Mick Ultra.
That's kind of funny. That's a good bit.
I think at the end of the year, we
So I'm not drinking right now.
He was
I was drinking
literally
Mick Ultra.
the joke was he was like, I've been sober for 22 years and he's drinking a Mick Ultra.
That's pretty funny.
you think they'll release numbers that they sold after the first week of beers? Because the concession thing is very much a discussion point this week.
It is. I have.
You could probably
seen
get a
this
total out of the school
and
this
heard
week,
about
yeah.
this. Yes. I wonder what that looked like.
Feels like a Sean question.
The lines
Yeah.
were significant. Significant lines.
And it was, you know who also won on Saturday night was the Hawkers that were not in attendance.
I miss the little
Because they
kids.
became the most popular, most valuable
Yes.
people
The
in that
Hawkers
stadium on
are-
a weekly basis.
The Hawkers are in demand.
Wasn't it?
It is the Hawkers' time to rise up and return to Memorial Stadium. valiantly
Wasn't it
to
beautiful?
sell Diet Mountain Dew.
Wasn't it beautiful when you could just walk 10 steps and there would just be a little kid with a runza and you'd just be like, hey, Billy, here's a 20.
Wouldn't
That's
it
helpful
help
the lines.
Yeah, it'd help
Ugh.
alleviate the lines a
Ugh.
little bit.
I'm telling you that the Valentino's pizza that they would have in those little like warm, warmers, those warm coolers, it tasted much different than the ones that you would get from the stands.
100% agree with you. The Miller Lite that they sell in the little, or the Miller Lite, the Valentino's pizza that they sell in the individual boxes, it tastes different.
So much different. It's
Yeah.
like the condensation and the water and the cardboard like mixed together and gives it this little like sweet tang,
Yeah, I mean Valentino's is already the sweet candy pizza, but
It is.
it's very.
Have you ever had their pasta?
Yeah.
It was so sweet.
I know
was
it's like
so
candy.
sweet.
That's
It's
why
like-
people like it.
They literally
It's like, would you like your pizza to taste like Skittles? Sure. I love it.
they you're supposed to put glucose in your tomato sauce. You're not supposed to put sucrose. They clearly are putting too much sucrose. in there.
Oh, sucrose versus glucose.
Well, glucose is
Glucose.
like you
Isn't
know.
glucose a monitor for diabetes?
Well, that's sugar. Glucose is sugar, and that's in the form of like natural things that you eat. So like a lot of professional restaurants, when they make their tomato sauce, they'll put like a carrot in their tomato sauce because that's natural glucose that adds some sweetness to the tomatoes. But sucrose is sugar.
So I always thought the hawkers were just like I thought the deal with the hawkers was that they were going to be adults now instead of children, and like I thought they were still going to have them. I didn't know that they killed them off entirely.
I think they use because I don't think many hawkers were over the age of 18. So that's
Correct.
That's an error mark rule.
Right, because I thought
think
that they were
just
just going
used
to make
it
them
to
old.
just end the program.
Wow,
That was a great program.
wow.
I always tipped those kids.
I came up in the hawker program.
Did you?
No,
Were you a hawker?
I never hawked.
Oh, damn.
Never have hawked.
Were you a hawker? Yeah,
I-
I hawked back.
but
in
this
06.
When I
just-
was in high school, we'd have like a cookie. We had like a place where you could go buy cookies. And one day I was really bored and didn't have class, and so I went around to various classrooms, disrupting them, selling cookies. So I hawked those.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Did they have a hawker of the year?
I bet. I'm sure.
They should. I would
Hawker
love,
Hall of Fame.
I would.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to find out the Hawker Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I heard Benny won it in 2011.
Yeah, little Susie Davis, 3-time Hawker of the Year,
Mhm.
one of the greatest of all time. Nobody sells those runzas like Susie.
It just reiterates the point that I said on our show. Is South Stadium is the worst viewing experience in all of college football if you are stuck in South Stadium.
South Stadium is a disaster. It's so bad.
It's
is.
a miserable place to watch a game. You are so tight. It just logistically, it doesn't flow. It's funky.
It's ugly.
There's
it's
nowhere.
old.
There's nowhere to go to the bathroom.
There's zero.
And now there's no hawkers.
Oh, and even by the way,
Unbelievable.
even before the beer sales, the lines in South Stadium to get concessions was
yeah.
absolutely atrocious.
Oh yeah, I remember sitting in the 90th row in the student section when I was
Yeah.
a student. It was just like you had to make some decisions like very very
Well,
early about how you're going to handle things.
you had to make sure that if you were leaving to go and get a hot dog or something like that, that you had your people around you and you had to remind your buddies. You're like, hey, I exist. I am coming back.
Mhm.
Don't let anybody in.
Yeah.
Don't scoot. Don't do anything.
Don't forget about me.
Dude, you would show back up half an hour later and you would try and stand back up on the stands and you were like now watching the game sideways.
Maze writes in on YouTube. I don't know where section 17 is. It says section 17 had a hawker for dogs. Guy was probably 80 years old. Felt bad for him trying to get up the stairs. And then the credit card machine was not getting a signal.
Hey.
Oh, God.
Oh no. That'd be
no.
great if they went the whole 180. Like as opposed to the kids, they made just a bunch of elderly people do it.
Oh, no.
Well, you got a 66-year-old guy that's in the LSU band this year because he went
Yeah.
back to school.
I saw that. Yeah.
That was
Freshman.
dope.
Just have Ben Stiller from Happy Gilmore shoving old people around the stadium.
Gotta love the untraditional students for sure.
God.
For sure.
Okay, so there was as now has become a commonplace if you've gone to the College World Series or
I have.
other sporting events, the grab and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we need more grab and go?
We need more everything.
Mhm.
There's not enough anything at that stadium.
Quote.
Um,
We need more of everything.
there's a convenience store here in town that has a side section that is grab and go. Might be a Casey's. where you can check out on your own and you don't have to stand in line.
Do you know the over at the Colorado Rockies Stadium, you just literally like you tap your card and you get in and then you just walk out.
Yeah.
And then
It charges you at the end.
and then somehow they just know
What you
that-
walked out
what
with.
I walked out with. Like how?
Mhm.
How do you know that I grabbed a Rocky dog?
It
at a
knows.
Miller Lite?
It knows. There's easy ways to do this. There are easier
Like the
ways
one
to
at,
do
have
this.
you guys gone through the one at Warner Park?
Yes.
Which is extremely popular. It's on the third base side.
Mhm.
It's great.
The one in left field.
We'll be
well,
there
we went-
tomorrow. I'll do it then.
Hey, one in left field at the College World Series. Was this the first year? It was convenient.
No, they've had that before.
Okay.
They've had it. When I went back in before I was working here, 2000 and I want to say 23. Was that the year Wake Forest and Stanford had that rain delay where it didn't rain? Was that 23?
Yeah, that was LSU.
So that like they had it then, but it was how the CWS does it is great because it flows. You just flow with it. You just kind of walk like you're never not moving.
That's right. There's ways you could do it. There's
I-
ways you could do things.
I just
Now it's a little harder on Nebraska football fans at Memorial Stadium in particular because you got to have all your stuff and most of it comes
Yes.
off your phone and some people
Good
point. Know
point.
how to work their phone.
and also too is that
now that starts with people trying to get into the stadium.
Yes, I would imagine that is the primary issue with that
Well,
situation.
we all either we do this with our parents, or you have a friend that had to do it with the parents that go to games, is to bring their tickets up, put it in their wallet,
oh my
take it out of their
God.
account, put it in their wallet,
Yeah.
and you go, "Hey, Dad, when you go to the thing and they scan it, just open your wallet on your iPhone
Mhm.
and show them."
The amount of times
turn
that
the brightness up.
my dad, God bless him.
Sometimes it does it for you.
65 years old. Okay. Great man. He has had a phone, like an iPhone now, for like 15 years. Okay. For 15 years, he's had an iPhone. And he's still like, I've had to change his password on Ticketmaster so many times. And anytime we go to a sporting event, he just hands me his phone. He just, here, figure it out. Like, refuses to go on StubHub, refuses to do the email, refuses to download the ticket, refuses to put it in the wallet. It is one of the most frustrating things ever.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
I know.
You just click
Some
the link.
people just it's not a part of their deal.
Because I think all parking now is digital too.
Yeah, which is awesome, which is fantastic. I don't know how this could be a bad thing. We got a parking pass. They sent it to me on Thursday or whatever last week. I'm like, sweet. They don't have to like mail it to me. I have to go get it.
So
You
this
don't have
is
to send an email being like, hey.
hey,
It's
can we talk
amazing.
about Lincoln's traffic control on game days? Like they don't sync the lights.
No.
I don't think they put cops on the street until 2 hours before
There was a
Whoa.
car
for direct traffic.
when I was leaving. This is probably, I don't know, at the very least an hour after the game ended, probably more. But up on the top of Antelope and Salt Creek,
Oh, God.
there
Yeah,
by
yeah.
Advani Center in the
Yeah.
dorms,
Uh-huh.
somebody had gotten smashed. So there was a wreck there, and that was ruining everything.
That is the ultimate, like,
And they had to put
intersection.
traffic cops out there, which actually ended up being a good thing because they needed to put traffic cops.
Good luck trying to turn on to 10th Street from P on game day.
10th Street from P.
From P.
Oh yeah,
Like,
there's
right-
people walking.
Oh my God.
And,
there's no shot. And it's that left-hand turn doesn't have a green arrow. It's not a green arrow. It's just a flat green. And
Not
so
good.
it's just like you will get to a line on P where it's just like one car at a time gets to turn left.
Not good.
And you almost hit somebody every single time.
Not very good.
Did you make your way to the proposal after the game?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get right into the mix
Yeah.
to see Luke Lindemeyer drop to a knee?
I didn't see the actual proposal happen, but I heard it happen. It was quite the noise.
Yeah, her fellow Scarlets were
Yes.
very excited. Well, I
And-
guess Lindemeyer's teammates were too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was gathering around, and this is all happening like behind me. I was kind of out close to midfield, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on over there? And yeah, I just turned around. It looked like somebody definitely just got engaged. And then I walked over there to find out who it was, and everybody was excited for Luke and Kaylin, the new happily engaged couple.
I have a feeling. What's your opinion on in-stadium, in-game proposals? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan?
For me,
yeah.
as a fan,
No, like, are you like, it's dumb, it's cool, it's stupid? You don't.
there's no one take fits all here.
Okay.
There's no one take fits all. It's not my personal. I wouldn't do it that way.
Sure.
But Luke Lindenmeyer, he's he caught his first touchdown, and his girlfriend's a Scarlet.
See,
so
I
why not?
think-
And by the way, do you know the story here? They went out in January. By the way, first date was at Cracker Barrel.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
He bought the ring in March.
Nice. So he's been sitting on this for a minute. He knew when you know, you know.
He,
I don't know how long they've been together.
I think it was cool. Like, okay, Lindenmeyer doing it, cool.
How old is he a junior?
Got to be 22, 23.
So no,
But
this
I
is
think
his fourth year in the program.
she's like 20. She's younger. She's like a sophomore. Yeah.
Luke Lindenmeyer listed as a junior. That could mean anything.
It could.
I think technically they don't have walk-ons anymore. I think technically Luke Lindenmeyer was still a walk-on.
He could be 34.
Was
Well-
he?
Be a 66-year-old freshman in the band.
Okay, so somebody asked me about this because you would know because you were probably there. And I think I have the right player. Didn't on No Sit Sunday after the game, Mike Peltz?
Yes,
He proposed to his
he
girlfriend.
did.
See, I think that's cool. When
It's a
you're
great time.
when you're the player, when you're the athlete,
That's what I'm saying.
that's sick. When you're just a fan, though,
I just thought it was. I just tried to be in his shoes, in Lindemeyer's shoes for a second, because usually afterwards, you get engaged. It's just very like, it's personal, and then you like get to bask in it, and you're together, right? He's like, sorry, honey, I have to go because we have this post game. We had to go to the locker room, and I have to answer questions from a bunch of media people, likely about this engagement.
I was about to say,
Very few people have ever done a post-game press conference after being engaged immediately.
Like,
that's quite the thing.
Do you think he should have brought the future
he could have?
Mrs. Lindenmeyer?
Yeah,
He
probably.
could have. That would have been a great move. But she was celebrating.
what if he proposed at the press conference in the Hawks
No,
Championship
no,
Center?
no.
That would be bad. I was also thinking about that when I was standing there and I was watching Matt Rhule talk. Like he has a really good grasp on this, but it really all hit me as he was in, because there's the room, and for people who want to like go into the post-game press conferences or buy access to that stuff, once again, I can't tell you enough that it is the worst idea that you could possibly have.
They're a bunch of randos.
Because you go in there and there's like 30 people in there, and it's a very, it's quiet, it's not celebratory or anything like that. But when he gets up there in front of everybody, he knows that every time he talks behind that podium, he is talking to literally the entire state of Nebraska. Yeah. Every word that he says will be sat on by so many people. But in that room, it doesn't feel, it feels very low stakes.
He makes does a great job. It's a great point. Makes a great job making that room very personable. Like it kind of at times seems like he's talking to you, and he's like,
but he's talking to everyone.
You're having a little like campfire, talk with Matt Rhule. Were there people who bought tickets to be at that press conference? Were they doing that? Okay.
Oklahoma
That's just
sold
Oklahoma.
access.
Yeah. Oklahoma did it. I said it the day that it came out. It is so dumb. Why would you want to be there where there's nothing going on?
Well, okay.
Because they say I can't.
So if you're not in that world where you attend those,
sure.
I think the first time you go, it's probably pretty cool. It's like, wow, that's the head coach. He's up there because he's up. He's on a raised podium.
Yeah.
And he's looking down, and then you're like, I wonder if I should sit in one of those seats there where I can get on camera.
It's like when they do the tours and everything like that, I'm sure they go through there and they're like, this is where he does the press conferences, and people are like, oh my goodness. And there was so many people at the kickoff event that was before, and most of the people and the families were like, look at this field. This is the field that and I didn't even really think about that. I just thought they were going to come through and run around and have a good time, but they were like, no, I wanted to see this. Like, it's access into the practice facility.
That's a good point.
And I thought, yeah, okay, I guess I just can't really understand.
We're in it every day, so we kind of take it for granted.
Yeah.
But if you've never been to a press conference and it's like, oh my God, there's the coach in Nebraska, and you can sit there and hear him answer questions, I think that would be, I don't know, I would pay a ton for it.
So
Probably not.
If I'm not mistaken, it was like $600 for at least one of those press conferences.
Yeah.
for
But
Oklahoma.
the press conference is part of the package.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get more than just.
I would pay to go to a Gundy press conference.
You might see something.
I see something.
That guy has dropped some liners the last couple. I still can't.
He's
get
also
over,
dropped a lot of football games of late.
I can't get over the Ollie Gordon only had 4 beers and then drove home. I've done that 1,000 times. That's an all-timer.
Yeah, that's
Just admitting to the entire media at college football that you have committed like you've done a DUI 1,000 times
statute of limitations
without being caught is quite wild.
It is.
Yeah,
It
I
is,
break
but
the law all
I
the
think
time.
I think he's at times trying to get fired, and they'll never do
Yes.
it.
Yeah, I think he's given up on winning.
Yeah.
And he's just on to other things. But T. Boone Pickens is no longer there. He's not walking through the door.
When
If he does, it's a miracle.
when he leaves,
Real miracle.
is he? That would be a real miracle. Yes. Who's he going to be the OC for when he leaves? When he gets fired?
Don't you think when he gets fired, he's done?
I
He's
don't
out
know.
of football?
He could be.
Senator.
Whoa. No, I think
In the state of Oklahoma?
He might do okay.
he'll be on a panel. He'll be on the Big 12 network.
I
Does
don't
that
know.
does the Big 12 network even exist? Is that a thing?
It does not.
Okay. Thanks, Josh. That's why I asked. I had no clue. How does the Big 12 not have their own network? The ACC's got their own network.
Great question.
The Summit League has their own
I'm sure
network.
there's something that they brand.
They only
the
run
Big
the
12.
Big 12 network during basketball season.
Yeah.
I love Summit League Plus. I love it.
I
One of my
love Summit League Plus, Matt
That's
McMaster.
something you don't hear every day.
I love Summit. What about ESPN Plus?
I hate it. It sucks.
What?
ESPN Plus, much greater than Summit League.
Summit League Plus is incredible. It's one of the greatest apps.
The
in
fact that
existence.
Creighton is on ESPN Plus
It's
outside
awesome.
of men's basketball and maybe a game against who knows who.
Gary's going to be on ESPN Plus this week.
I'm
I'm-
gonna be on ESPN
not once
Plus
but
this
twice.
Josh is going
Yes.
to be on ESPN Plus this week.
week. Well,
Are we doing a game together?
not me, but
Oh.
the football team I do
Oh,
stats for.
yeah.
will be.
Okay.
That's right. That's a road game at Hutch, right?
It is.
I use ESPN
Good luck.
Plus to watch.
I'm going to go 2 weeks in a row on ESPN Plus.
Hello.
I'm going to watch. I watch
Imagine
30
not
for
being-
30s on ESPN Plus.
Imagine not being on ESPN
Yeah,
Plus.
be on ESPN Plus.
I've been on Big 10
so
Plus. I'm a
pretty
Big
easy.
10 Plus man.
There was
I thought you were Summit League Plus.
Oh, I love Summit League Plus.
well, okay, what about
so good?
BTN Plus?
Yeah, I'm not as good as Summit League Plus. That's my coup de grace. Nothing's better than Summit League Plus, man. Dude, where else can I watch Oral Roberts take on South Dakota in volleyball? Nowhere else.
I'm telling you, the Summit League Network having their own network is one of the stupidest things along many that league has done.
I think you're wrong. I think it's one of the greatest things that exists.
There's no
Summit League-
access.
I
Like,
get all the access
okay,
I can
no,
need, Gary.
No. What the Big East did in partnering, getting away from Flow Sports, which cost you too much money, and getting on ESPN Plus, you are
It's great.
like what I get access to everything.
Yeah.
If I'm not a fan of Creighton, I can go and watch Creighton. Like I have to buy something separate to watch Summit League.
That's
teams
right.
play.
I know, but it's Summit League Plus, man.
You know what it is?
I'm
It's
joking.
Midco. So
It
it's the
is.
television network in South Dakota and North Dakota. That's basically what it is.
Get yourself some ESPN
I'm-
Plus. You might
I'm-
see Gary Sharp.
By the way, you're very right. I'm like I have. It's not a good app. but
That's
it's,
not.
It's
if
not.
If I
And
would have not gotten
by the
a
way,
free password, I wouldn't watch
for-
it, and I'm in that league.
First off, I never watched it outside of the Omaha games. Okay, and secondly, I cannot believe that they have that, and I can't pick what radio broadcast I want to listen to.
Well, because
like-
it's all TV.
Yeah, it's like they.
You can only see me.
They're
you can only
not
see and hear
mixing
me
that
at home.
in. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
No, I just
chance.
can't believe that like they are like a conference with their own network, and I
And-
can't just press to be
and by-
like a
and
one
by the
button to
way-
press to listen
By
to
the way,
Omaha
being on the
broadcast.
Summit League Network, you don't get any extra money.
What?
Yeah, they take my talent and
Just
Wait,
do a
wait, wait.
broadcast.
yeah, just do a broadcast,
they
and I
were-
get no compensation.
Whoa! I thought they were legit giving you probably
No,
like a
they
little
are
extra.
carrying the radio broadcast with the
Wow.
with the cameras and all that stuff and the graphics.
Yeah, you see Gary on TV on Summit League Plus? No, it's his radio.
No, I see Gary's back.
That's what Flow Sports was.
They were like,
yes,
but now when it's the ESPN Plus for like Creighton stuff, there's a whole stand up before the game,
There-
and there's a shot of the moon
what was
during
the
the broadcast.
What was the game that T Mac?
that's a little tough for the Omaha men's basketball game.
That's true.
What was the game that T Mac was at?
That was Oral Roberts.
And so you were at the Oral Roberts game, and somebody pointed and goes, "I think that's Gary," and I go, "Yeah, I know that back anywhere."
Good
Thank you.
line.
You're welcome.
Couple questions here. Asian Joe writes in.
Hi, Asian Joe.
When do we get 16-20 plus? Now, what talent would we put on 16-20 plus?
Probably me.
Joey-
I'd probably be the only one.
I
doing
think
stuff
Joey
on there.
Joey Colbert would be interested in
We could
doing
do a
some stuff
producer show.
on
I feel like
16-20
1180 is in a lot of ways 1620 plus.
Brandon, is anybody interested in NCHC plus? Is that
Well,
happening?
so now that the NCHC is not on CBS,
Oh, it's not?
they ended that agreement, which sucked because it was one game a week and it was usually a pretty good series.
Yeah.
NCHC is not bad. NCHC TV
Okay,
for hockey,
okay.
not bad.
Okay.
Some places are
home.
better, like Omaha, North Dakota, much better than like Miami of Ohio's broadcast is not that good.
Just love it. Summit League Plus. Just where do I get the original Summit League though? Like this is apparently the addition. I don't know where else I would get my regular fill of Summit League play.
In the arena.
My Thursday night
You got to go to
partner-
Vermilion.
So my Thursday night partner Todd Doxson did the UCF North Carolina AT&T game on ESPN Plus.
Whoa.
Went down to Orlando, hung out with his former Shrine Bowl roommate Scott Frost.
Had to sit through a long delay.
Yeah,
68-7. Is that? Yeah.
Is that so UCF? That's the second week in a row they've been delayed. Correct.
Yeah. It's
That
just
time of the
because
year.
of Scott
It'd
Frost.
be incredible, dude. I was gonna say that it'd be incredible if every game this season got delayed in some sort of manner for Scott. Like they just couldn't.
He was like, it was like almost every game that he had in his career, every first game was canceled or delayed in
That's
some way,
crazy.
shape, or form
That's
So-
insane.
until 2019.
so I guess apparently somebody was upset because you had the lightning delay in the NFL game Thursday night. They're like, do you guys have any proof that anybody has ever been struck by lightning in a stadium watching a game? Because the guy was
What a
livid that they
question.
were delaying the game. And it wasn't necessarily the Central Florida game. It was yesterday, the Jacksonville, Carolina game.
What a question.
Do you need proof?
Someone got struck by lightning at that
No,
game?
no. He
Oh.
was like, hey, do you guys have any proof that somebody's been struck by lightning watching a game? Why can't they just keep playing?
Does he
This person
want?
saying safety is a sham.
Yeah, I was about to say, does he want somebody to get
do
struck
you
by
realize
lightning?
how-
Somebody has to die for
This
you
guy
to be
knows
like,
how
all right, I
lawsuits
get it.
exist,
How
right?
how demoralizing it is. Well, it would be if somebody got hit by lightning. But when you're watching the clock count down, like the College World Series, knock on wood, we've been lucky, where they count it down and you get to like 8 minutes, and all of a sudden the time pauses, and they put another 30 up there.
Yep.
It's very sad.
There was one rain delay, right? For
Yeah, we
the
had
CWS?
one nice long night this year, and that was it.
Dude, we got
We're
out.
we're on
Yeah.
general track for about one a year these days, which is great.
Global warming.
Josh and I were on the air, and he was like, we gotta get out of here. Once we go live, get out of here. Just leave. Like, don't even just go to the parking lot. Like, once we're off the air, we just gotta make it, and then we don't have to be on. And that happened. Like, we got off the air, we beelined it.
How many people stuck with Carolina and Jacksonville yesterday, you think, after that delay?
Well, I had Brian Thomas Jr. over 5.5 receptions, so I was sticking with it the entire time. Son of a gun didn't get it.
And I'm glad to see both of you survived Red Zone having a commercial.
Yeah, I was never complaining about that. It was fine.
I
watched mostly Red Zone on my phone yesterday.
I was the honk.
Ooh, how was that experience?
Bad. Because then they were like, hey, Happer, wake up. Someone just scored a goal for Nebraska soccer. You have to say something. And I was like, all right, go. Kama Carpenter. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's what I
That's
was
a good
doing.
time. Your event, how'd that go? Good time? It looked awesome.
The Cornhusker kickoff?
Yeah.
It was a hell of a time.
It was
How was-
packed.
How
was-
are Maddie and Tay in real life?
I was about
They
to
were
say.
unbelievable. I didn't watch most of it because I went to grab my credential and then I came back.
You're ridiculous. Did you listen to any of their music before you met him?
No, I didn't meet him. I didn't have anything.
You
to
didn't
do
meet
with
him?
it. No, I didn't have anything to do with him.
You didn't say, hey, Maddie, nice to meet you.
The
I'm
only
kinda happy.
person I had when EJ Barthell came in and they got off the bus and we could talk about this in a few minutes, but like on the script and the information that I got, it was like, hey, do an interview with them.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are going to sit down for 10 minutes and talk about what the running backs. And I'm like, sweet, I could do that. That sounds awesome. And EJ Barthell came in and I was like, hey, how are we feeling today? And he like grabs the mic and he was like, I gotta say one thing. This fan base absolutely rocks. You guys were the best in Kansas City last week, and I love night games at Memorial Stadium. And I'm like, oh, this is not this is not a conversation about the running backs. But you go ahead, you take the mic, you pump them up for 5 minutes, then get out of here. All right, see you.
All right. Have a good show.
All right.
And I'm glad that you haven't had a mistake.
I'm sorry. I can't.
It's okay. It's okay. It happens. It happens.
It really doesn't to anybody else.
It's weird.
It's nobody else.
That's a crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It's Monday. We'll start things off next.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly cloudy skies for much of the day Monday. Impact weather with a 30% chance of rain and thunder showers this morning and again this evening and tonight. High today of 77 degrees in Omaha with breezy winds out of the south up to 25 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Severe weather not expected. A low of 60 and breezy. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome in. It is Monday here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you, back from the weekend. And 68-0 shellacking by the Nebraska football Cornhuskers. Can you believe that?
Where do we pick up our Ohio State championship trophy?
That's right. Who else from the state of Ohio wants some of this?
Nobody.
Bobcats, where are you at? We'll take down all of the non-Ohio State teams in the state of Ohio.
That's right.
Would Nebraska beat every single non-Ohio State team in Ohio? You got Miami, Ohio. You got some Toledo up in there.
Yeah.
You got some other places, I'm sure.
Youngstown State,
FCS. Yes. Man, they should have done an FCS school from Ohio this week.
Yeah.
Missed out on an
Kept with the
opportunity.
theme. Yeah.
Instead, you got to go to Texas to find Houston Christian, formerly known as Houston Baptist.
People forget.
People do forget. Can't wait till that history lesson on Friday. Today on the show, Mike Schaefer will join in about 20 minutes. We'll talk some football with him. And Matt Rhule's Monday press conference will happen at around 11:30. So stay tuned for that. We will play that right here on 1620 The Zone. Sam McKewon of the Omaha World Herald coming up at 1. That's the lineup, powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you all today, 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline. Kent State, that's another good one. Nice. Bowling Green. It's Bowling Green in Ohio. It's Bowling Green in Kentucky.
I thought Kentucky.
Check on that one.
Check the Google. Oh, Bowling Green, Ohio. I'm sorry.
Bowling Green, Ohio. Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline, 402-951-1620. Call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor, Josh Show at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers out there. How we doing, everybody? You can name your favorite Ohio MAC team right there in the YouTube comments.
I mean, they don't have to be in the MAC, but a lot of them are in the MAC.
Most of them are in the MAC. Elsewhere today on the show, we'll dive into NFL Week 1. Banger of a game last night. We could talk about that coming up in just a moment here. College football in Week 1. Florida, great, awesome. Very, very fun school to laugh at in the grand scheme of things. So we will take advantage of those opportunities today. Our dear friends from Michigan who will be coming here in a couple of weeks, getting stomped by Oklahoma. I know it didn't look like it on the scoreboard, but trust me, they got stomped. Also, we'll check in with Mark Gronowski, who sucks. Sorry.
Tough look.
Yeah, I tried. It just, I've seen enough.
Hey, we need you to march, not downfield, but just like a little bit of the way down the field. Nope, can't do it.
Some teams might think, if you get the ball back with 1 minute and 50 seconds left and you only need 3 points, it's like, I think that's a doable thing. For Iowa, it was not doable.
Nah.
Undoable. By the way, speaking of our friends from Michigan, they have now officially announced as of this morning when Sharon Moore goes on suspension this Sunday at midnight, and then they travel to Nebraska on Thursday of next week. Biff Poggi will be their head coach. Let's go! Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
All of our dreams are coming true.
Now we just have to have the weather cooperate enough to where he decides that he wants to wear a cutoff on the sideline at Memorial Stadium, because they're going to be on that sun field, Josh.
They are.
You're going to be on that sun field.
Thank you, Matt Rhule.
Biff Poggi is coming to your city here in just a couple short weeks. I cannot wait. This is Michigan Week Part 1, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it.
Sadly, yes.
Next week will be Michigan Week Part 2. I have a couple questions coming off of the game. What happened, some things that were good, very few things that were bad, except for seems like lines and things of that nature.
Lines
for beer.
Oh, okay.
Food items, things like that. So there was that as well. Also, I'm ready to make a proclamation on the show, not about Nebraska as a team specifically, but about one of their players. I have a proclamation, Josh.
Ooh,
yeah,
I'm
just waiting for you guys to join me in proclaiming this.
Do you believe you're the first person to this spot?
No, but I'm ready to definitively decide.
You're ready to rule.
Ready to rule.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Text comes in from the 402.
Hi, 402.
Connor, hopefully Gus Johnson had a good weekend. Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he enjoyed Ames quite a lot. Not during the game, but maybe after. Corn and soybeans at his family farm. That's what he was talking about. I love farms. He was probably going to all the bars talking about that afterwards. I'm sure Gus had a great time in Ames. Excellent time in Ames. All right. That's what we're doing today. That's the setup. I can't wait to talk about a 68-0 win.
Better than a lot of things we could be talking about.
Everybody's really happy.
Yeah.
I listened to Big Red Overreaction and people were overjoyed overserved, but overjoyed.
Great.
Overserved and overjoyed, the Nebraska fan base post the Akron game. I didn't see 68-0 coming. I'll tell you that.
No, I did not.
Josh called 59-14.
That's right.
And I had 42-10. So it went a lot better than that. We'll have some thoughts on that when we come back. And of course, the game last night in the NFL, which was lovely. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Josh is wearing his Derrick Henry jersey. Nice fumble, Josh.
Go, Josh Allen.
He had a great game, Derrick Henry did. He's one of the greatest running backs of all time. And then changes the game with a little fumbly.
Nothing but respect for my king.
All right. Josh is not going to say anything bad about Derrick Henry.
Check the tape. You'll never find it. I'll never say a bad word about the man.
Never will. All right. Schaefer, Matt Rhule's press conference, Sam McKewon, all coming up today. Glad you're with us. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. But first, a word from our friends at Underdog Fantasy. Football is indeed back. Hopefully you enjoyed the weekend. Hopefully you got a little busy on the Underdog app. And best of all, once again, you could play right here in our fine state of Nebraska within the walls of the Nebraska border. Playing on Underdog is very easy. Just pick whether you want your favorite players to go higher or lower on sets like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. You could look ahead to a game like tonight between Minnesota and Chicago. I'm looking at it right now. Justin Jefferson, higher or lower than 78.5 receiving yards against the Bears. Or if you're, for some reason, high on Chicago, Caleb Williams, higher or lower than 220.5 passing yards. You take your pick one way or the other. There's plenty more options for you on the Underdog app, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash and play with as little as $1. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code HAPPER1620, like some people out there already have. HAPPER1620 to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Promo code HAPPER1620. Millions of fans have already won billions. Making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys?
The Zone Hotline is powered by Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more.
I'm Gary Sharp, and I can tell you about Moose Roofing, but let's let customer Paul tell you.
Got a tweet from our friend Ziggy.
What up, Ziggy?
On the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Ziggy says the following. Surely the stock of the blackout game later this season between Nebraska and USC has gone up since the season started, both teams clobbering mid-major powerhouses on their schedule. Yeah, I think USC is trying to prove a point.
They're playing mad.
I kind of think Nebraska is maybe trying to prove a point as well. USC, who'd they beat the crap out of last week? I mean, it was really bad. It was in the
Missouri State, 73 to 13.
That's right. And this week it was Georgia Southern, 59 to 20.
Imagine
and remember,
not clobbering Georgia Southern.
Well, remember who the coach of Georgia Southern is. That was an underrated part of that game when it took place in 2022.
Clay Helton. Right?
Clay Helton, yeah. Clay Helton makes his return to the Coliseum, and USC absolutely smashed Georgia Southern. Maybe, just maybe. And maybe there is another game in which Nebraska will be wearing non-traditional uniforms. Maybe it's coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people seem to think, Josh. I honestly don't know.
You tweet a picture of the red moon, people start talking.
Yeah, somebody must know something.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a great Saturday to do it. Houston Christian, you're not in any danger of losing the football game, and it's an 11 a.m. game, and you just rip out those all reds. See what you got to do. What's going on,
so
Josh?
I don't.
Why do you have your hand over your mouth?
Sorry, I don't mean to derail the show. Platcat chatted in here. Scott Wolf still very angry about the results at USC. So I went to see what our friend Scott Wolf had to say about USC.
Mr. Wolf.
My USC Georgia Southern analysis, quote, glaring holes exposed. Well, USC got its blowout Saturday, but there were some real warning signs against Georgia Southern.
That's awesome.
I've continually questioned the defense this offseason, and those concerns were on full display.
Amazing. They allowed 20 points and they scored 59. Also, he is also a hater of games that aren't, big. Like he wants USC to play a big game every week.
Sure.
So I can't imagine that he's a huge fan of Georgia Southern coming to town, among other. He's not a fan of many things, it appears. But yes. What'd you think of our little football game last night? Little footballs, Josh. Little footballs.
Little footballs.
Look, they're little footballs.
So
the Sunday in the NFL is like kind of not very good. It had a couple of good games. It had a very week one college football vibe. There was some bad stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, Schaefer and I were going back and forth on this, so maybe we'll talk about it in a few minutes when he joins the show. But I couldn't decide whether the Bills-Ravens game was actually very good until it definitively became really good.
Agreed.
DeAndre Hopkins really woke us all up from that with that one-handed snag in double coverage in the end zone. That's okay. I'm ready to roll. This game is indeed good.
I think.
And then Derrick Henry fumbled, and Josh Allen did some more stuff. Let's just QB sneak him 100 times until he could score. Yeah, that ended up being very good. Not good, but good.
The second time Baltimore went up 15.
The second time Baltimore, so the 40 to 25
yeah, 40
situation.
to 25. Yeah. Henry broke off that big run. I said, okay,
that's it.
I think we're done here. And I turned it to a movie, and then, still kind of had the game on my phone. And I was like, wait a minute.
Hang on.
Wait a minute. I need to switch these two TVs again, and got back in time for the fun stuff. But
the Bills
I thought it was over.
The Bills are America's best drug. They are.
Poll question?
Yeah, sure. But like you can, if you're not a fan of the Bills, or if you're not a fan of a team who has something against the Bills, you could just watch the Bills and sit back and just know that you're going to get something completely ridiculous that happens. It's amazing. They have been able to survive for this long with really only having one player. all the credit to all the other guys on the roster. Those guys are great. Whatever. It's Josh Allen. If they don't have Josh Allen, they're probably like a 5-win team.
Oh yeah, they're trash.
They make him do everything, and especially when the game's on the line, and
he runs the ball for them.
He runs the ball for them. James Cook is fine. He had a big run in that game late, didn't score on it, and but yes, that was. I mean, it's just all Josh Allen. It's like, okay, what's Josh Allen going to do to impress me tonight? And it was fantastic. Collinsworth was out of his mind. Collinsworth was like, I could just see it. He's got Haley around now, and he's just happy. There's just something about him now. I'm like, you don't even know what you're saying right now, Chris Collinsworth. But once again, my point always about Collinsworth is that he just loves football and loves when things are amazing so much.
Mm-hmm.
He has this great sense of wonder. And I want generally my broadcasters to have that while at the same time being able to maintain a little bit of, like I know better than most.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Collinsworth does that mix relatively well. But I think last night he kind of got stuck in it for a little bit. He's like, yep, this is too awesome. I'm just going to say how awesome this is.
That's all you need to say sometimes.
A bunch of times in a row.
These two are going to play a game in Buffalo in January because of this game here today. And Mark Andrews is again going to drop the ball because it's slightly chilly. And it's all going to be because they gagged it away in week 1.
Maybe it'll be the last game ever at that stadium.
I mean, it was classic Ravens against classic Bills last night.
Yeah, the NFL just always comes through for us. And then there was like one other. I mean, there were some good games, but I thought Tampa Atlanta was pretty solid, and that was important, right? It's a divisional game,
Sure.
and that was a pretty big game for Atlanta, and my boy Koo wasn't able to come through for him.
He's very upset with himself.
That's my guy. I love Young Wei Koo. I don't know why, but he's been my fantasy kicker for like 4 years straight now. I love Mr. Koo, but he did not come through for me. And then it was a lot of other junk. I mean, there were some good finishes, but a lot of junk going on in the NFL, which is fine. It's still a great product because all of it comes at you at one time, and then you wait until Sunday night, and it's great. And then maybe the Bears and the Vikings will come through us tonight.
Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility, I guess.
That is a possibility. I don't know if it's a likelihood, but it's a possibility.
It's football on our TVs. I'm happy to have it.
And we'll take it. Hokey Sker writes in.
Hi, Hokey Sker.
It's a damn shame Happer took the under on the Skurs last week.
Whoa.
I didn't take the under. I picked them to not cover. I picked Akron to cover.
That didn't happen either.
I thought it was 34.5. I'm like, too many points. How'd that turn out? Oh, 68-0. Got it. Oh, adjust that going forward. I wonder what the line will look like this week. I haven't even checked yet. I am not thinking about Houston Christian whatsoever. We're going to have a great bunch of shows this week, and it's going to probably feel like a week of summer during the season, and we'll probably be talking a lot about Michigan, who once again has a brand new, beautiful, beautiful interim coach named
Beautiful
Biff. This is the peak male physique. Biff Poggi. Is Michigan vulnerable? Also, Nebraska might be a favorite in that game.
Against Houston Christian? Yes, they should be.
Might be a favorite.
Against Michigan.
Against Michigan.
You think so?
It's going to be close.
Ooh.
It's going to be tight. They have Central Michigan this week, and Nebraska has Houston Christian. But Nebraska, with the home field advantage, might be a teeny tiny 2-point favorite somewhere around that way. I'm sure there's some advanced lines that are sitting out there right now, but I haven't seen any. All right, we'll take a break. Mike Schaefer will join us on the other side. Matt Rhule's press conference coming up at 11:30. What did it come on a Monday on 1620 The Zone?
Come the Guardians.
Yeah, I have statistics to back up that we have people that listen.
Mike Schaefer.
Anytime there's sort of a debate as to who can do something, Happer would always put his name forth, for sure.
Husker 24/7 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I could be a star.
Joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline by Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7. Schaefer, good Monday morning to you. What's up?
Not a ton. How are you doing this Monday after a Bills-Ravens game that we were texting a little during, and I felt like, hey, this could be a good game, and it's just because the rest of the games have been bad. Then it turned out to be an amazing game.
Yep.
In the sort of way that every Buffalo Bills game tends to be these days.
I'm feeling great. They all sort of, like you mentioned, sort of kind of run together. Like they all feel like that to me, especially with those two teams. So it almost takes the pure enjoyment out of it. But it was fantastic last night. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's nice to have the NFL back. I understand we are very much in a college market, but the NFL remains the greatest sporting product there is. And it's really not close. And that's from someone who loves baseball and everything else. But the NFL is just the best pure sports product. And it's a better world when we have it back.
Agreed. It was also great to see that the YouTube comments from the Sunday side session are looking real good.
Yeah, well, there's some positivity in there too, but that one made me laugh. I like it as an idea for us going forward. You know, should we ever get the band back together, we just tell the decision makers, look, it's two beards and two of the worst people to talk about Nebraska football. The internet agreed. What could go wrong?
Yeah, what's not to like about that? It could be very, very special. But this is a YouTube comment from Schaefer's Sunday side session video from Tim. Two beards, two of the worst personalities talking NU football. Fantastic. We love it.
I love it. There's some heat on me for just the light show take and a few other things. There's someone who came to the realization that we have some real similarities physically in terms of the redness of our beards and lack of hair and everything else. So, the usual stuff you get post-show from the internet.
Yep. Fantastic. And I'm glad they're picking on us because there wasn't much to pick on from the 68-0
Yeah, we'll wear it.
win.
We'll take it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we'll take those arrows. How I don't know what you expected going into the game, Schaefer. I certainly didn't expect that. I mean, that was a pretty complete butt whipping on Saturday night.
Yeah, you don't really expect a team to put up 68 points and to shut somebody out. You don't expect it to look as crisp as it did from the second quarter on. I thought Nebraska would have not necessarily struggles, but I just didn't think it would look the way that it did. I mean, they looked very polished. They looked like a team that had a full understanding of what they wanted to do in that game, and they had an overmatched opponent, and they never let them off the canvas. I mean, from a just sheer domination standpoint, it is the reverse of what we saw at times last year, where Nebraska would have a great first half and then seemingly go in the tank in the second half. And, this was not that. They were putting it on to the point that they were kind of throwing the ball around late in the game just because they had Jalen Gramstad in or TJ Lateef before them, and they wanted to get these guys work. And I think that's the big takeaway here. And I think it's valuable. I mean, I don't think Nebraska is a better football program because they won 68-0, but I do think they're a better football program when the second, third, fourth team is able to get in and get some crucial game reps and just get their feet wet. Like that's only going to help you when you've got to establish depth later in the year and injuries happen.
Did it? I mean, it didn't need, like you said, they brought in the backups and allowed those guys to actually play football. And that's what Rhule said after the game. And that's how you develop guys. They did that on Saturday night. I wonder though, I know Matt Rhule cared about pitching the shutout. I know that he wanted to have a 0 up on the board at the end. And it felt like maybe putting up a number there and just making it look good for everybody else to see felt maybe a little important to him. What was your, like, it didn't need to be 68-0, but it ended up being 68-0.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt they wanted to prove, like, hey, okay, you guys spend all week asking if we can be explosive. Here's a bunch of explosive plays. You got questions about this? Here's that. I mean, I just, some of it is, it's been such a long time since we've seen Nebraska thoroughly overwhelm somebody. We forget this is what happens in college football. I mean, Minnesota won 66-0 against Northwestern State on Saturday. Florida State just absolutely destroyed, I think, East Tennessee State. Like, this is, I don't want to say commonplace in college football, but it happens every year for 15, 20 programs. The thing that hasn't been common for Nebraska is being one of those 15 to 20 programs. So if nothing else, it was almost a reminder from the coaching staff, like, hey, you know, this is what you're supposed to do. We don't play with our food here. When you're not good and you come into Memorial Stadium, you're going to leave worse for the wear. And it's essentially what happened for Akron.
Yeah, I'm with you. I felt like that was definitely a point that Rhule was trying to get over, across to his team. Let me ask you this too. We now have seen a couple weeks of year 2 Dylan Raiola, and he looked awfully good on Saturday night. Once again, you have to throw in the caveat, like we will be all week. This will get really annoying, but yes, they played Akron, and next week, yes, they will have played Houston Christian. I'm sure a lot of the same is coming. But how good are we ready? Is Nebraska ready as a fan base to throw their energy behind Dylan Raiola and say, this is our quarterback, and I think he is as good as anybody in the country?
Yeah, I kind of did a test case of this on Twitter yesterday, sort of just reminding people that there was a real sort of groundswell from national people. Yeah, you know, he's whatever. Because he was a freshman and had 13 uneven games as the only true freshman in the country to start 13 games at a Power 4 level. And that was kind of held against him. And then I just wanted to kind of remind, like, hey, just because a guy looked like this as a freshman doesn't mean that there isn't going to be a chance that he can really be the 5-star quarterback that he was promised. And then the response from a lot of people was overwhelmingly positive. I think people were very in on Dylan Raiola. I think it's obvious the arm talent isn't something we've seen at Nebraska a lot. But the one refrain that continues to come up is basically, we'll see when it's a better team. We'll see what he does when it's Michigan. We'll see what he does. So there's always going to be some goalposts moving for a segment of it. But I think by and large, there's a lot of recognition that this is just different. And what that means to me and what I think it means to Nebraska is you can't waste it when you've got a guy who might legitimately one day be an NFL quarterback. You need to put the right pieces around him, whether that be Dana Holgorsen as the offensive coordinator or Isaiah Hunter and Dane Key as receivers or anything else. And you need to maximize your opportunities that are in front of you. Nebraska doesn't have the toughest schedule in the world. This is why it feels like a really big season ahead, not just because, you know, you want to see Nebraska win a bunch of games for the first time in a while, but also because you've got 2 years of Dylan Raiola left. Don't waste one of them by having a 7-5 year when you could have been 9-3 or 10-2. I mean, I think that's just the underwhelming narrative, under discussed narrative of this season a little bit. Like, hey, there's some pressure here to make sure that it works when you've got a guy that you won't always have every year.
Nebraska hasn't had this at quarterback, I don't think, in a while. Where, I mean, I think he's really good. Right. But it's more than that. It's the type of guy where maybe he's got some disrespect or he's under talked about nationally, or in Dylan's case, there's a very specific narrative about him looking like Patrick Mahomes and acting like Patrick Mahomes. And that comes off, you know, you don't think about him maybe as an excellent college football quarterback first. And the fan base here is starting to figure out, oh, wow, he is really good. And it's almost like they need to, you know, continue to sort of like elevate him to a national kind of level in order to get that conversation. Or does it need to be, hey, go out and beat Michigan and then we'll talk about it then? I always feel like there's always some sort of hesitation with him around here, but that is going further and further away as we go along.
I don't know if it's the Adrian Martinez aspect of it, but it does feel like people are a little bit gun shy to just kind of like put the chest down and be like, yeah, Nebraska got one of the best quarterbacks in the country. The rest of the team might have their own deficiencies, but we know at quarterback, this guy's really good. I thought one of the interesting things this summer, Connor, is I would come on shows like yours or, we do our stuff at Husker 24/7, and we talk about the strengths of the team. And it was odd to me that, like, it felt like it was almost a hot take to say that Dylan Raiola was a strength of the team. Because there was a little apprehension to basically say, like, hey, this guy's good. Because he threw 13 touchdowns to 11 interceptions last year. Even though he did it as a freshman, it just felt like people didn't quite want to get to that level yet. I've been there for a while, and that's not to, like, toot my own horn. I think we're witnessing what could be a real breakout for him this year. And I get, yes, it's Akron. Yes, it's Houston Christian. I like what I'm seeing. And I think they have the pieces to really enhance him, whether it's Emmett Johnson at running back or those wide receivers or their tight end. The offensive line, I think, is fine. And then I think Daniel Holgerson and Dylan Raiola are going to be a really nice match together as they get into Big Ten play.
Does something need to happen for him where, he makes a tough play, or he comes back and he wins the game against a quality opponent or whatever it might be, and then all of a sudden this is a rocket ship that can't be caught? I feel like we're like one step away from it. All the stats are checking out so far. The eye test is checking out so far this year, and we're like one step away from everybody saying, oh yeah, this is our guy. Everybody hop on board.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know what the step is, because I think it's going to be one of those continually moving things. If they go beat Michigan, but Michigan's a 6 or 7 win team this year, or if it's a sort of win over Michigan where Nebraska's defense holds Bryce Underwood in check and Nebraska wins like 17-13, I don't know that he's going to get flowers for that or anything. So I think it's got to be the totality of the season. But look, if he stacks up 10 wins and throws 25 touchdowns and goes into the record book for a top 5 quarterback season passing, that's going to get people's attention. I just think like it's going to be probably a more culmination than it will be a singular moment. But yeah, if he leads a comeback to go win a game, if we've got a handful of just highlight reel level throws, and I think that's coming. I think we're just going to continue to have more and more of that conversation. And then I think nationally they're going to catch up to it too, because he's got everything that every national TV person wants. He's got the pedigree. He's got kind of the swagger to him. He talks like a veteran, even though he's only had 15 games under his belt. He's clearly a leader at Nebraska, even though he's only a sophomore. So it's not going to take much to get people on board. I just think it's going to be kind of a slow burn until we get there.
Schaefer, 728 yards from the offense, 68 points. There's a reason why everybody's talking about the offense. The quarterback throws for 364, but the defense is able to notch a shutout for the first time since the 2009 Holiday Bowl when Nebraska was back and they were here to stay. It's against Akron. I know, once again, we'll throw the qualifier in there. What have you learned about the defense through 2 weeks?
Yeah, let's use one of the old cliches. It's never as bad as it looks. It's never as good as it looks. I have questions about Nebraska's defense still. I mean, they still allowed, I want to say I heard it was 6 runs of 10 yards or more in the game against Akron. That's not great. I still have questions what that run defense looks like against a quality run team, a team that just wants to ram it at them. A team like a Minnesota, like a Michigan, they're going to have those opportunities here in the rest of the season. And then the other one that really sort of stands out to me, Nebraska's pass rush does not look very good through 2 games so far. And some of that is opportunity, right? Like there's only been so many dropbacks. But they've got to figure out where that pressure is going to come from, because as good as this secondary has played, and holding 2 back-to-back teams under 100 yards passing, I believe, is pretty outstanding. If they could get any kind of push up front or pressure, it's going to lead to some takeaways and turnovers. And so I just wonder if that's coming. If they've got that in their bag here these next few weeks, if the blitzes are going to start being dialed up, or what we're going to see, because I just don't think they're winning one-on-one enough across the defensive line in obvious passing situations.
All right, Schaefer, we'll let you go. Appreciate it as always. Enjoy your week, as I'm calling it, Michigan Week Part 1.
Michigan Week Part 1. Is it really Michigan Week when they went and lost to Oklahoma and they're not going to have their head coach and their quarterback just kind of looks like he's a true freshman playing quarterback and going through those sort of things?
Are you predicting? Do you have a prediction for us on day one of Michigan Week Part 1?
I mean, I had a prediction on the Michigan game going back to the summer. I feel like Nebraska wins this game. It's the Michigan State game where I think the letdown is coming.
Okay. Well, there's so much to talk about in both Michigan Week Part 1 and Michigan Week Part 2. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our conversation in Michigan Week Part 2 because it means we're past this Houston Christian game, which already feels like an afterthought. Hopefully Nebraska football doesn't feel that way.
All right, Schaefer, we'll talk to you Michigan Week Part 2.
See ya.
Bye, Schaefer. Husker 247. You can check them out there. The Sunday side session is up along with a variety of other content.
Michigan Week Part 2 also doubles as Michigan State Week Part 1.
That's true. USC Week Part 1, and there's 6 parts to that or something like that.
Got to keep it all straight. Don't get lost.
Very exciting. All right, we'll be back. We're going to try and squeeze in a quick segment here before Matt Rhule's press conference so we can get ahead of the breakage. So we'll do that. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Matt Rhule's Monday press conference is coming up here in just a few minutes, which gives us just enough time to talk about how Mark Gronowski stinks.
Oh, no. I mean, he does. We watched the game.
When Nebraska wins 68-0 and their quarterback throws for 364 yards and he's thrown for what, 600 some yards in 2 weeks and has 6 touchdowns and no interceptions, and he's completed like 80% of his passes or somewhere around there. You could look around college football and you could, start to write some notes down, start to Matt McMaster write some notes down. It's like, do you remember that athletic list over the summer that had Mark Gronowski ranked over Dylan Raiola? That was a crazy list, and it looks really bad now. Now, I was listening to Big Red Overreaction, and one of the hosts was talking about how Iowa was embarrassing, and they were an embarrassment. I would never say such a thing because I have respect.
Whoa.
But among their quarterbacks that Iowa has had recently, Mark Gronowski is not any better than any of them. He is the same as every single one of them. The problem is he was, I don't know why this time people really talked themselves into it over across the river. And I got news for him. It ain't happening.
Yes.
He just doesn't quite have it.
Yes, we understand Iowa could still beat Nebraska, but
Of course. And I do have respect for Iowa as a football program. They win in spite of their offense. It's a conscious choice what they are doing to be so ass at offense. When they're down 3 with under 2 minutes left in the game, there's about a 0% chance that they're going to win that unless they could somehow get the ball to the other team in their possession and then force a turnover or get a pick 6 or a special teams play or something like that. So there's just, with their offense on the field, the math is different for Iowa than it is for everybody else in the country. They don't approach it in very traditional ways. But do not count me in the bucket that Iowa is going to be this, they're going to be down this year and they're going to go 6-6. No, you're never going to hear that from me, Josh.
You've learned your lesson over the years.
I have. They always look exactly like this.
Exactly.
They always look exactly like this. The problem is, like I said, people thought Gronowski was going to be good, and Gronowski is definitively not good. But they'll just have to live with him turning down easy first down throws, just as they have every other quarterback that they've had over the last decade. They've had some good guys. They've had some less good, and Gronowski's probably right, on the Iowa scale of comparison. If Iowa had Dylan Raiola at quarterback, I think it'd be pretty difficult for Iowa as well. But at least he's naturally talented and gifted enough to be able to make some things happen, I think. And we're learning that, I think, about Dylan as we go on. I think it took a while to convince us of that. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth in the noon hour. But I am ready to rule on Gronowski. Not good, Josh.
It's a thumbs down for you. Okay.
No.
Bold move by you.
That's just one of the things going on in local college football over the weekend. How about Kansas State? Never go to Ireland.
Whew.
Yet again.
Wow.
They have lost to our Army. Our Army. K-State. Man, what's up with all these teams just like looking really introspectively at themselves after losing to Iowa State? Maybe have some respect for Iowa State.
Yeah.
Florida, hilarious. Nice job. Dude gets ejected for, of all things, spitting.
Jalen Carter, a terrible influence on the children.
And sets up a long play and a chip shot field goal. You don't want to lose if you are Florida or any of the major schools that have a group of 5 school in your state. You don't want to play them and lose to them on your home field. That's a bad deal for you.
No, not with Florida's schedule. They didn't have the cushion to lose that game.
No. And then there's some conversation about Michigan. They're going to go into the next 2 weeks without Sherrone Moore. But they got stomped against Oklahoma. Physically manhandled.
Didn't look right, did it?
No. So they're going to have to go back to the drawing board on that one a little bit. And yes, our dear Biff Poggi will be here in just a couple weeks. That's at the end of Michigan Week Part 2 for the record.
Sharon Moore has gone on the record at his press conference today and said that Biff Poggi will wear sleeves.
Sleeves.
Imagine having to do that.
Yeah, well, it's important. I was curious. Will he wear sleeves?
Absolutely.
I was hoping no was the answer, but I guess he will. That is regardless of the weather, or are they still leaving some room just in case it's too hot and he needs to take the sleeves off?
It did not sound like there was a lot of wiggle room in the quote that I read.
Ooh, very interesting. All right, we'll be back. Not Mike Schaefer. Mike Schaefer already joined us. Matt Rhule is not a guest on the show, but you will hear from him at his Monday press conference when we return on 1620 The Zone. But this is Michigan Week Part 1 is what we're calling it. But Nebraska does have a game this Saturday. It's against Houston Christian. And we'd like to send you to the Blur tailgate. Hang out with John, Michael, do some pregame. You could give your keys or don't, but still go to the Blur tailgate. We'd like to get you in. Head to 1620thezone.com and enter for your chance to win 2 tickets to the Ultimate Blur Party tailgate under the viaduct this Saturday for the Houston Christian game. Once again, that's 1620thezone.com.
State jewelry, gold, platinum, collectible, and pre-1964 coins, even bullion, silver flatware, and silver sets. With 6 metro locations open 7 days a week, no appointment necessary, and immediate payment, it's no wonder why more people choose Saul's, because we pay more. Saul's Jewelry and Loan, where you get more.
Hey, neighbor. Oh, my gosh. Is your energy bill sky high again? When is it going to end?
Not anymore. My old windows were so drafty, it felt like I had one open all the time. So I upgraded to Champion Windows.
Champion Windows? Are they really that good?
They're fantastic. Energy efficient, super durable, and backed by a lifetime guarantee. And right now, it's Champion's anniversary sale. They're celebrating over 72 years with 40% off new windows.
Wait, 40% off? That's a serious deal.
I know. I just went online and booked a free estimate. So easy.
So if I need windows and act now, I can save 40%?
Yep, but you gotta hurry.
Call 877-GO-CHAMPION or visit ChampionSaveNow.com to schedule your free estimate. Champion's 40% off anniversary sale won't last long. Call 877-GO-CHAMPION or visit ChampionSaveNow.com. All discounts apply to our regular prices. Select styles apply. Minimum purchase required. Cannot be combined with other advertised offers. See store or website for details.
Hey, it's Happer here for Underdog Fantasy. Football is back, and Underdog is the place to make picks and win money all season long. And best of all, you can play right now in Nebraska. Playing Underdog is easy. Just pick whether you want your favorite players to go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and plenty more. This week in week 1 of the NFL, how about Friday in Brazil? Justin Herbert against the Chiefs, higher than 224.5 yards passing. That's just one of the many options for you on Underdog. Download the app today and sign up with promo code HAPPER1620 to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code HAPPER1620. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
The workday begins the moment you put on your boots. At Boot Barn Work, we know you need work gear that holds strong until you kick them off at the end of the day. No matter the job, Ariat Work Gear performs week after week, year after year, with fit, mobility, and safety features built for the jobs that keep our nation moving. Ariat provides nonstop performance day in and day out. Ariat at Boot Barn Work.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill serves pizza with an unforgettable pizza sauce and unique combinations of bold flavors. Try customer favorites like the Crab Ragoon Pizza, Mountain Man, or the Upset Grizzly Bear. There are daily specials and menu items like tacos, salads, wings, and burgers. Stop in and check out Timber Creek's family-friendly dining environment while enjoying a popular adult beverage. Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill at 178th and Harrison and at timbercreekpizzaomaha.com.
Husker Review Monday is powered by McKinnis Roofing and Sheet Metal. Looking for trusted experts to protect and enhance your home or business? We are McKinnis, Nebraska and Iowa's go-to choice since 1981. For commercial or residential projects, trust McKinnis Roofing and Sheet Metal. Visit McKinnisInc.com today.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Johnson with you in the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Let's head out to just outside the Hawks Championship Center where Matt Rhule is having his weekly press conference on Michigan Week Part 1. Here is the coach.
You guys being here. Obviously, I'm still happy about the win from Saturday. I thought it showed lots of improvement. In a lot of areas, got a lot of guys to play. I think one of my main takeaways with the team is, it's hard to get shutouts because, if you're a decent human as a head coach, you want to put the 2s and the 3s in and 4s and the guys who've worked hard. And so sometimes those guys go in there and they're just not quite as prepared. And I was really, really pleased with the level of play from our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th team players. Those guys made plays. Those guys knew what to do. Saved 1 or 2 plays. We executed at a high level, and the standard didn't drop, which hopefully gives those guys confidence that, they continue to play. I thought, one thing about Akron, they did not give up. They did not acquiesce the game. They didn't take their starters out. They played their guys to get better for their season in the MAC. And so our guys had a chance to play against starting caliber players. And so got a chance to see a lot of our players on offense, defense, and special teams get on tape. So happy that they were able to maintain the shutout, continue to score on offense, and you saw flashes of some of the players that we've been talking about. So turn our attention now to Houston Christian. 1-1, excellent defense. Ranked in, they've only allowed 1 third down conversion the entire year. Ranked in the top 5 in several defensive categories, and obviously be a real challenge for us. They ran for 400 some yards the first game, and they just fumbled, had a couple of key fumbles last week. I think they had lost 4. Otherwise, they might have come out on top against Eastern Kentucky, which is a perennial FCS power. So I look forward to a great week of practice, and let's see what questions you have.
How much do you know about them just from film, and how much does a team like that change from year to year, especially as they're sort of progressing as a program?
Yeah, we have a relationship with the guys at Houston Christian. We went down, ran a camp there, and obviously Coach Bechtel had come in as the OC, and now he is the head coach. Defensive staff all came over from Hardin Simmons, which if Division III football in the state of Texas, no one does it better than those programs. And so they know how to coach football. And so they've got excellent players. They've got some guys, FBS Power 5 guys who've transferred back, really, really active on defense. They're going to challenge you with different looks. They're not going to come out there and just, let you line up. You're going to have to, get in the right play because they show you different pictures. Offensively, I like what they do. They can both run the football, and they have athletes on the outside. They have an excellent offensive line. Coach Bechtel was at Argyle when Riley Van Poppel was there. So they have that correct, Susan? Yeah, Susan knows everybody. So there's a lot of ties and history here, but I think they're doing an excellent job. When you're, FCS in the state of Texas, there's a lot of high school football players, and then there's a lot of guys who maybe go off somewhere and want to transfer back, and they have good facilities. It's a great university, and so they're doing a nice job there.
There were a couple times Saturday where Turner Corcoran got in as an extra lineman on some of those jumbo packages. Just what did you like about Turner to get him those opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, he played at left tackle, and then we wanted to try try to use some jumbo 12, so a big tight end in there along with Luke, so that we could try to take advantage of the edge, try to run some of our duo plays and we had some other plays we didn't get to. But I think that's, one of the benefits of Turner. He's so smart. He can be ready to play left tackle and play tight end and have it not affect him. So, he's a prime candidate for that. We have a couple other guys who I know could do it, but, as Turner's working back into getting healthy, it just seemed like a perfect fit for him.
Coach, how pleased are you with this your punt return game? You lead the Big Ten right now in attempted punt returns, and just what you've been able to get out of that over 2 weeks.
Yeah, the first week we weren't super happy just because, we didn't do a great job stopping their Cincinnati's gunners. And so they got down there. So, Jacory got hurt on the one, right? And so now I thought Jacory did a nice job of making guys miss. And that was one of the missed opportunities. We had one play where, we had a missed assignment, and, we teach the guys if you get beat to cut bait, and Jacory made the guys miss. Might have had an explosive one in the first game, but we just didn't quite execute it. So going back to this game, we knew, I instructed the offensive line, or the defense, the offensive line and the defense, hey, when we have a punt return, you all should stand up, because we had a plan to, double the gunners and, force big returns. They had 3 offensive linemen out there and a punter who wasn't super, runner. So we weren't really afraid of the fake. So now you can go to doubling the gunners. The minute you do that, you lighten the box, there's a chance of someone faking it. And we felt like we were going to have some opportunities, and we just have a special guy back there in Jacory. And we have, there's I don't know what you guys have been covering. Has anybody posted the one punt return? Has anybody posted the one punt return where they literally take both outside guys and drive them off the field, into the I guess it'd be the south end zone. We literally both guys backed up. We take the guys do such a nice job. And Derek Branch, served as captain last week. He ran a guy at Cincinnati off the field on punt return, and then continue to do a great job again this week. Kamir Prescott, Rex Guthrie. We got a bunch of guys out there that are really competing and playing hard. So I think anytime you can neutralize their outside people getting down the field, you have a chance at big returns. And so it was good to see. With that being said, we'll have to continue to improve, but it was good to have those yards, and especially when we told them ahead of time, hey, you're going to have chances on this, be ready. And the guys were ready. I'm really happy with the way they executed.
Going back to blocking, Heinrich Harburg had a big block on EJ's first touchdown run. Have you just seen him get more confident with that part of the tight end stuff now that he's getting those in-game reps?
Yeah, I mean, everything for Heinrich's new, and he's working really, really hard at it. And, really a challenge. Even in the pregame, I think I said something like, hey, that first time you get that slice block, that's a hard block. You got to run across the line of scrimmage. A lot of people cut that. We don't teach to cut it. We stay high. And so that's a hard block to make, right? You got, Waneri or Lenhart or someone like that on the other side trying to run through your face. And I thought he did an excellent job. Took one more step, same foot, same shoulder, dominant contact, tremendous effort, ran his feet afterwards. So I thought Heinrich really made a huge step for himself, not just that play, but the whole week, and should really be, building confidence in his new role.
I know that you guys really value Luke Lindenmeyer from pretty much the time you got here. It does feel like as a pass catcher, it kind of took off when Holgorsen got here. How have you seen Luke develop as a threat in the passing game in the last 5 games?
Yeah, I mean, Luke. Well, I mean, he's gonna. I think the number one thing is he's always gonna be where he's supposed to be, and a lot of things we do are not just like you run this route, but he made the one-handed catch early on in that game, and that's one where, you run 5 yards, you sit it down, you hook in. If you get matched, you break out, and you have a quarterback in Dylan who he sees the defense. A lot of people just see the offense, he sees the defense. So the minute he sees a guy match, he's expecting the guy to break out. And so we've had times in the first couple of years, that's a play. That's not a Holgorsen play. It's not a sat play. That's a day one play, you know what I'm saying? And so there's been times where he's expecting the guy to break out and he's not. And then, it's just hard to play quarterback that way if you play with anticipation. So Luke's somebody who's always going to do those things. He's got great body control. He catches the ball. I think the one thing I want to make sure I say, and I'm saying this for the players, but sometimes whether it's Emmett or Luke, we characterize it as once they got their chance, but some guys have to get better. They, over the course of time, they get better in our program. And I made the point to our guys, a lot of guys in the white, which is our third team, our practice squad, we call it, an NFL team. Ashton Murphy gets in there and gets a sack, and he looked really good doing it. A lot of those guys did really good things in the game. And I try to tell them, it's because of the way we practice. You practice against you're practicing against the starters every day. Like you're pass rushing against really good players. So when you get in the game, you should make plays. And so to me, Luke is an example of someone who has continued to also improve. Now you are correct. He had to get those opportunities. And I think, one thing about Dana, because he so values, he always talks about routine plays and guys who can execute the plays, that guys who do that at a really high level, they get the first nod. And then as they get an opportunity, they start to make a ton of plays. And so I'm really pleased with Luke, but Luke's done a great job also of like, we got here, he had some concussions, he was kind of, is he a fullback? Is he this? And I think he's just done such a good job of developing his body, developing his neck strength, cutting down his body fat. And, I think a lot of his personal discipline in his life, whether it be his faith or obviously his relationship, translates over into the things that you eat, the things that you drink, the amount you sleep. And that then leads to your body getting faster, trimmer. And so he's, to me, a guy that's building his speed. He's just getting better and better and better and better. And so I think the same thing about Emmett. I always make sure when I go back, if what did I not see? What did I see? Like, I think I said earlier, hey, he had a tremendous camp. I come out of camp, because you could see Emmett starting to really become a downhill one cut runner as opposed to everything being like a drastic cutback, which, that works against some people, but some people it doesn't. So his runs, I love them because they were inside zones where he got into the line of scrimmage, he pressed it, he kept the ball front side, he cut back late, and then he just trusted his speed, one time to the left sideline, one time right down the middle of the field. And even though they eventually got him down, you get more yards as opposed to jump cutting it, 10 yards down the field. So I love the way Emmett's developing. I love the way Luke's developing. I think a big part of that's the way they develop their bodies though, too. And, our guys sometimes it's, they got Kristen on them, about, hey, you're 2 pounds under your body weight. And it's like, why? Well, the proof's in the pudding, like it helps you play better as you get older. So really pleased with Luke though. Really pleased.
After reviewing the film, just what did you think of the way the offensive line played and opening up gaps in the run game?
I thought they did. I thought we should have had more yards rushing. We ran duo once or twice and got the ball at the front side and got tackled by the safety. That's when we should make the guy miss. I thought the offensive line played really well.
You guys for the first time in 25 years. How does that feel as a coaching staff to know that your Archie is not on the field?
I got some emails about angry people that we didn't punt on the last play of the game. So, that's what I love about Archie though. Even his family was in the facility, and I think on Thursday or Friday, and they were like, hopefully we don't see him play. Now they saw him in Kansas City. They're here for several weeks, but Archie's a football player. He played footy, so he's competitive. He wants to do different things besides just punt. He wants to, hey, give me a fake, coach. He's a baller and he's a team guy. So, but I don't, again, I don't get too high about the highs, like that was a game that got away from Akron. We certainly didn't want to in any way embarrass them. And I thought they continued to play hard, so whether it's 34-0 or 68-0 at the end of the day, I just was happy to get the young guys in, but we'll have to get better moving forward. We'll face some different opponents.
Yeah, Matt, what is the next step for this team, especially knowing that this is the last non-conference game before the league play kicks in?
Yeah, just having a great today. Today's their off day, but even though they have to come over, they have to eat meals. Watching the tape, we'll know a lot about our team tomorrow if they show up and if they know everything about the guy they're playing against, if they know the base fronts, if they know the top runs. The reason why we have a process, and process isn't the schedule, but the reason why we have a process we believe in is so that there's standards that keep you locked in. If you're not matching the standard, then there's warning signs. As I said last week, I thought we lost the Illinois game starting the week before, just in terms of that's what we were supposed to do at halftime. Last game we were supposed to win by that much. What I was pleased at, I went after them at halftime. I freaking lost it in the locker room. I was pissed that we let them drive the ball down right before the half and almost make a field goal. Like, where's the killer instinct, right? That's my that's why I bring up the thing about Archie. Like, I don't want to be a joke. I don't want us to be I want us to be a football place, right? Football teams, you put away the people you're supposed to put away. You don't let them have life. So I wasn't happy before the half, right? And then, when we went to take a knee and they cut us, which I have no issue with what they did. That's something you do at the end of games. They just, their kids are trained to do that. I went after our O-line. Like, they don't fear you. Like, teams are supposed to come in and they're supposed to say, like, I never want to. They're supposed to walk up to their AD and be like, don't schedule them again. That's the mentality we're supposed to have. And that's where I went off in the locker room, the coaches and players. And it's not that I have it and they don't. I just want to make sure that's my job, right? It's not Matt Rhule. It's the head coach at Nebraska. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to when you play these teams, they want to come here, they want to play here. They're supposed to never want to play here again. And so that was what I was pleased about in the second half, that I thought we didn't let up. We went down and we scored again. Like, I wanted to take the ones out. Like, Dana wanted to keep the ones in. The ones all wanted to stay in. So we let them have another drive. They went down and scored again. So, and the defense continued to play, good football. So, that, we're facing a good football team this week. Just because a team's in the FCS or just because a team's in a Group 4 does not mean they're not a good football team, right? Like, when I was at Temple, I would always say, like, I'd rather play a team from Group of 4, Group of 5 at the time, whatever it is called now, that doesn't win than play Villanova. I hated playing Villanova because every kid at Villanova is a winner because they win all the time. So teams that win know how to win. Teams that don't win, bad teams do bad things. And so, I want us to be a good team this week. And it starts with how we act this week in practice. It started last night. I was very pleased with our day yesterday, our attention to detail, showing up, being locked in, taking responsibility for the things that were good, taking responsibility for the things that have to improve. And so that's our plan.
Do you change anything with 11 a.m. this week, just with your weekly preparation, knowing you played 8 o'clock, 6:30, now you're going to go at 11, and obviously energy can be hard to come by that early just to kind of get your guys.
No, our fans are going to show up at Legacy Walk. They're going to be like they were last week, and they're going to show up to the game, and they're going to be amazing because, I'm just telling you, man, like, I sat there with the recruits and I was like, all right, listen, where'd you go last week? I went to here in the, okay, look up there at the student section. Was it like that an hour before the game? Like, look at it. At the other game, I'm like looking at people. I'm like, look how many people are still here at the game. It's just unreal. So I bet you we'll be pretty good. That being said, 11 o'clock for us. Now, we practice in the mornings. I took a chance at Cincinnati. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure it was the right move by me. I practiced that night that week, and that can kind of wear you out. So last week, the guys were kind of like still kind of, man, what's the schedule? We got into our schedule, and we made one change at the end of our week. Kristen Coggin has been suggesting this for 2 years to come in later on Fridays, and we did it. And the guys were unbelievably fresh, and so I said, Kristen, I trust Kristen with my life. That's how good she is. And she said, I'm telling you, it'll help us. And so we made that global change, but that won't affect practice. So I think for us, the guys are in the building on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at I walk in, I come walking in down by the weight room at 5:45, 6 o'clock, and there's guys walking in. What's up, coach? So, we're kind of an early morning organization. So the early morning games for us are hopefully something that we should be locked in for. But I think the one thing we'll see this week is literally, and I don't know this all the time, but talking to Corey, how many guys don't understand the schedule because they're so new. There's however many new players. And so Gabe Moore, he's on the trip, and Corey was saying, Will Waneri is telling him no, make sure you don't go upstairs now. We're going to do this next. And so it's just travel and first time at the home, first time away. There's a lot to it. So this week, I think they'll be a little more settled. It's okay, this is what we do. I understand the schedule now. We walk through it in preseason, but until you actually do it, it's hard. But I don't change anything else other than just trusting that the morning preparation will be good for us. And I think, like I said, our student section, our fans, a lot of places in the country, you don't get that at 11 o'clock in the morning, but I think we will.
You mentioned last week the UNI performance kind of leading to that Illinois loss in terms of respecting opponents. I know there was that halftime adjustment, but did you notice a marked improvement in that, in having that faceless opponent mentality?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I want to make sure I say it again because I said it earlier. So I think that the UNI game, because we were coming off the high of Colorado, and then we went to play UNI, we started the disease of looking at the brand that we're playing at instead of making this man versus man, right? When you have the mindset that I talked about, where when I play you, I respect you, okay, but I have no fear of you. I respect without fear. I play a nameless, faceless opponent, and you choose to line up against me. I'm going to play you till you quit or I quit. That's a mindset that isn't super popular as much anymore because I can play 52 bad plays, have one good play and post that and get 1,000 likes and be like, hey, look at me, so it's just trying to build a culture where everyone's Instagram stuff is great. The content's great, but what does the actual film say? So I think that, that was our season last year. That's year 2 for me sometimes. It's hey, we played Ohio State like this, then we come back the next week and we kind of play like this, and then we play like this. And then, What's the atmosphere like? How's the music? None of that matters. It's just football. And so I thought we were focused the whole game. I did not like the last drive. And as much as anything, it's just for them understanding, like, you're not playing to score more points than the other team. There's a standard that we want to play at. And if the other team with 46 seconds left is dropping back and throwing the ball, they don't respect you. They don't respect your pass rush. They should take a knee and go into the half and try to regroup, but that's not what they did. And so you should take that personally. When they take the ball and they defer to start the game, and when they win the toss and defer, that means they think it's going to be a game in the second half, which I think is the right way to play, by the way. But like, these are things as a player, like if you have to have an edge to yourself. And so if the edge only comes from like, well, we're playing a ranked team, then that's the disease of average. Like you have to find an edge every single week because there's a man lined up against you that thinks he can beat you. And so you have to beat him. And at the end of the game, he's either going to shake your hand and say, I can play at your level. I'm good enough to play at Nebraska. Or he's going to shake your hand and put his eyes down and be like, hey, good luck the rest of the way and get ready for his season. And so that's the mindset we're trying to get across to our guys. We've been trying to get that across since year one. But we're also trying to tell them, like, hey, you also have to go to class during the season. Like, what? I have to go to class too? Yeah, you have to go to class too. So, like, there's like steps to this thing. And so I think now we're at this step, like, we're looking for competitive greatness. Preparation leads to poise and confidence, which leads to competitive greatness. And even though the situation, like, you get in the game and you're up by 60 points, is that competitive greatness? Well, for some of our guys, yeah. Is there a chance to play? And you know what? Ashton Murphy ripped through and got a sack. I mean, he can't control when he gets in the game, but he can certainly control what he does when he gets in there. And so that's what we're looking for this week. And so if we go out there this week, or we go out there at practice this week and we think we're a good team and we start listening to that disease, just like I tell them, don't listen to the noise when everybody's saying, you guys can't do this, you can't do that. Also don't listen when they say you can do this. That's just the film. What does the film say? And so I'd like to see a good film tomorrow's practice. And if I don't, then we'll try to get it for Wednesday. And hopefully by Saturday, we're locked in and ready to go. But with the guys we have, they've been through a lot. I think they'll be ready. Marquise Buford, some of the things he said after the game were really, made a lot of sense to me. And so I think they're recognizing some of them are doing things that they've never done before. I mean, they've never beaten someone 68-0 before. And so why are you doing that? Because you have a Nebraska. Well, you had a Nebraska on when you lost to Georgia Southern. You had a lot of people in the stadium when you lost to whomever. When we beat La Tech a couple years ago and it was a close game, like you had the same stuff on. So it's not that. It's how you prepare, how you practice, and how you play. And so we'll just keep trying to bring it back to that message.
Your coach has had a lot of true freshman quarterbacks start and play. So obviously that's not TJ's story, but how'd you feel like he stacked up as a true freshman in that first play?
I mean, I'll never forget like putting Charlie Brewer in. We were getting our, I can't use the word, but you know what kicked. And it was against Oklahoma State. And we were like, Charlie, all right, that's back when if you played him, I got fried for putting him in the game because you burned your red shirt, right? So Charlie, go in the game. And literally, I remember him putting his helmet on and he looks at Garrett McGuire and he's like, well, I'm never coming out, and went running in the game. Now he was out 3 series later, but like, that's the confidence he had. I'll never forget PJ. We put when we lost for that game, I talked about that Fordham game. We were trying to get something going. We put him in and he had a guy wide open. He threw a beautiful, just overthrew him. He catches that ball. The guy catches that ball. We probably don't lose that game. And PJ's probably the starter. It took me like another 3 games. Well, TJ's not in that same situation, but I thought he exhibited the same confidence and the same, like, I'm going to go do what I do. And at the same time, still operated the offense. It wasn't like he was out there running around, he threw the ball on time. He missed the one sail route a little high. He made the right reads. He put the ball in guys' hands. He ran the football, he didn't reach the ball across the goal line. Just all these little details that you're looking for your quarterback to make good decisions, to protect the football and move the offense. I thought TJ showed all those things, and he just didn't look like a freshman to me. He just didn't look like, even the first snap was a little bit high and he caught the ball and just kept playing. So I think, my thing with TJ is always like, hey, when we need you, you're going to have to be ready. And I thought that was real signs of life for him in terms of he's going to be ready, but he's had good practices. That's why he's been elevated up into that role. And then we're lucky to have a guy like Jalen here, Gramstad, who, can operate everything and can play at a high level too. And then Marcos just gets better and better and better. So we have a really, really healthy quarterback room. TJ was very pleasant to see.
Some of that, he played at a high school level. So did Dylan. So did your 26 recruit. Is there a value in playing a really high level of high school ball that trickles up once you get to college?
Well, I'll say this. So I always believe when we look at recruits, I never penalize a guy for playing at a small level, because they're not in control of where they play. And if you're a great player, you're a great player. But I do think when you see guys playing really well in a high level, then you're like, okay, he'll probably be ready. I think the other part of it is just sometimes if they've played at a school that, like if they're in Texas and they have athletic period, or if they're at a place like where they have spring ball, like they're just a little bit more developed. So it doesn't mean they might not be better in the long run. It just might mean early on they're a little bit more ready to play. And then the final thing is I'm one of those guys who I can get seduced by talent very easily sometimes. And I have to be very disciplined not to, and especially at the quarterback position where you're looking at like their arm and their, mechanics. And like, you do the Elite 11, which I think is great. And all these different things are great, but the guy drops back, he reacts to a guy going here, guy comes in, he rolls out, quarterback pro days, but it's really about which quarterback can play. Like, show me their game tape, which quarterback can play. You mentioned the freshman quarterbacks I have, PJ 5'10" and a half, 5'11". He's still playing in Canada because he was 6'2". I believe he'd be an NFL starting quarterback still. Charlie was 5'11", right? Like that's why he didn't have 50 offers, but he was at his best when he was with us. He was one of the best players in the Big 12, and so it's not to me about all the other things like, hey, the height, the weight, the speed, the arm motion. It's like who gets the ball to the right guy, who makes the right decision, who's fearless, and I think you have to watch guys' game tape. And so TJ, we watched him throw, and we loved all those things about him, but I think when you watched him play, you were like, man, this guy's a good player. Making sure that, the guys that have played for us, we watch them play. And then the guys who we have committed, because we've done a pretty good job in terms of getting guys committed, that we like their game tape. And that's a position to me that's just so cognitive, so much instinctual reaction. I want to see the game tape. And I think that's what TJ had, really good game tape.
Obviously had a big
TJ specifically after his rushing touchdown, one of the first people to celebrate with him was Dylan. Like, how have you seen them like continue to like build each other up, and TJ, look up to Dylan?
Well, I mean, Dylan's like an older brother in that, like, he helps him, he talks him through it, he coaches him, but he also like holds him accountable. Like I told TJ the one day, if Dylan's here at 6:30 a.m., you should be here at 6:15. You should have the bagels and the coffee. Like that's the role of the number 2 quarterback. And I think Dylan's, when you're sitting in that quarterback room, what's expected timing wise is, the time you spent is pretty high. Like there's not a lot of quarterbacks. I'm sure some do as much, but not many do more than what Dylan does. I don't know if anyone. And so I think he's held TJ to that as well, but he's also, pushing him to make those checks that like are like the second and third level of playing quarterback. Like, like you can come out and you can just say, oh, I made the protection, and okay, I know I'm hot off 2 over here. And then, if they throw hot, I'll try to get the ball out or throw the hot. And then you can start to flipper it and, hey, I'm going to protect myself so that I can get the ball down the field. And then you can start to take the third level. Like I'm going to change the protection when I know that they're blitzing one guy. And so I get the back out and man, and that's where Dylan's at, like trying to figure out everything. And he's pushing TJ through everything Dylan learned his first year. He's pushing him through it right now. And, I think we're lucky we have Glenn. Glenn is just like relentless on fundamentals and little skills and basics and all those things. And so it's one thing to, I have a bunch of friends who are quarterback trainers and they do an excellent job. When you're the quarterback coach, though, you're also coaching like the, hey, make this check here. And so I think Glenn's a great blend of both the technical quarterback trainer part, but also the X's and O's. And then you got Dana in there too. So I like their relationship. I like, how much Dylan, cares about the guys in his room. And I think that extends all the way down. Eric Crouch was here on some business thing and he stopped in the building the other day, and, the quarterback room's named after him. So we went over there and we were showing the guys he was with that room, and we walked right in. The first guy, Jalen Gramstad's in there watching tape on when Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon at 3:00 in the afternoon when he could be taking a nap. So I think all the guys in that room take their role very, very, very seriously, and that's a good, healthy environment to be in.
Dylan obviously had a big game on Saturday. What were some of the things that you were happy or impressed with that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet?
That he didn't turn the ball over. I mean, if we don't turn the ball over, you can look at the last 10 years, 12 years, whatever it's been, of not having the records we want. You can just simply trace it back to like the turnover margin and the amount of balls that have been turned over. I mean, for my first year, I think we minus 17 or something horrific like that, to getting to like -2 last year. But we have to be in the plus to win. And so I think when you're throwing the ball, I know he's he's the 5th rated quarterback in the country in terms of completion percentage at 78%, but he's thrown the most passes of anybody too. And so, I mean, is it 14 or 15 different receivers he completed the ball to this past game? 14. that to me is not like, hey, we're not coming out and saying like, hey, we're going to block this up just for this one guy. Like, hey, throw it to him. Like, we're coming out and we're just operating the offense, and whoever's open gets the football. And so I love the fact that Dylan's protecting the football. He's taking what the defense gives him. He's moving the ball all around the field. And that then makes, as we move on, right? Because right now it's like week 1, week 2. You don't look at those in snapshots. As you get to like week 6, week 7, week 8, and you're looking back at an offense's body of, their history, their book of business. I look at them, I'm like, okay, well, who are their gotta have it players? It's 4th and 3. Where's the ball going? It's 3rd and 10 at the 10. Where's the ball going? And most teams is like, hey, they're going to try to get the ball to this guy. But with Dane and him, like they're going to go through progressions, like they're going to, like even the play that went to Dane, like that's really a play to, the touchdown to Dane. That's really a play to Jacory. It's X and Z races. They race across the formation. It can go to either guy, but really you're thinking Jacory is going to win across the field in man. And then the safety rolled over the top and Dane just kept running. And like, that's a ball. You're not going to see many guys. I told you guys I didn't want a ton of wow plays. That's a wow play. That throw was a wow play. And you guys, I think you guys understand what I mean. I'm talking about like the, run around, throw it behind my back, which he can do. And there'll be a time to do it. But I love him just operating in the pocket, sliding around the pocket. And I love the fact he ran the football, had the spin move down around the goal line. He had, a couple other ones. Like those are things that keep people honest. But just the fact that we're getting the ball to so many different people means as a defense, there's a ton of balance. You're not coming out on your scouting report saying, hey, we got to take away this guy. You can say right now we got to take away Emmett Johnson, because he's obviously, I think he's top. What is he? They give me this stuff, right? Emmett Johnson is 7th nationally in yards from scrimmage, and he played half the game last week. So you could say take him away, but then you take away Isaiah, Dane, Jacory. Who do you take away? And then we talk about Jacory as a guy I didn't even think was. When I sat here last week, I was like, I don't even know if he'll play. And he goes out and does what he does. But I think a lot of that's like that. He's not the first progression on some of those, right? Some of those are, hey, I'm gonna throw the ball loose the first progression. They play man, or we get backside to Jacory, and so I think those are the things that encourage me, not the score, but just the way that we're executing the things we're supposed to execute.
There were a few packages on Saturday where Dawson Barrett and Cade Petchak were on the field at the same time. You mentioned the recruits. What kind of message does that send to them, and then also the rest of the freshmen who are trying to get on the field?
Yeah, I think the two things, in fact, we had some guys go in the portal last year, kind of like, coach, we rotate a lot. I want to play more snaps. We rotate guys on defense. I'll never forget playing against Georgia when I was at Baylor in the Sugar Bowl and watching like every play, they rotated a different guy. And I was like, man, Kirby's brilliant. He's got all these guys like, hey, I'm a starter on dime. I'm a starter on nickel. I'm a starter on quarter. Everyone had a role. And so we've tried to add some of that, but yeah, we're going to play the best players, and it's because of the way we practice. A lot of defensive kids go to offensive head coaches, and some might be great, but like I'd go play for Nick Saban. I'd go play for Kirby Smart. I'd go play for defensive guys because they let you practice defense. You get to hit, you get to thud, you get to get off blocks. You're not tagging off the guy all the time. And I don't put myself in those guys' category. They've won national championships, all kinds of things, but I do believe the same thing. And so defensive players for us, I think they get better quickly because we practice in a way on defense that allows you to get better. And we're going to play the best players, and we're going to play a bunch of guys on defense. We're not going to play just 2 linebackers. And even some of those packages with Dawson, the first week Dawson was in our 4-3 package. He was a starter. And this week we didn't really have that package as much, but we also put him in like the second or third series. Like, you're going to go play. Dawson's an excellent young player. And then Cade, he's kind of, I told you guys, he's trying to, trap behind Will and Cam, who are 2 of our best players. And so we just slid him over to the other side and said, hey, you're going to have to play inside a little bit more. And Cam went in and played nose. And so I think Terry did a nice job of, hey, we need to get this kid on the field because Cade just plays so hard. He's so physical. And so, so I think those are 2 things. But for recruits, I think if you're a defensive guy, we'll develop you. And Sam just brought up, I started 3 freshman quarterbacks in modern college football. Not many people want to do that. We started Jacory last year, V9, and we started, if you're the best player, you're going to play. And the only way to get good at this game is to play it.
You've allowed, I think, 70 passing yards or less. What's impressed you the most out of your secondary?
Yeah, we're just sticky. We're not doing it because we have like 12 sacks either, right? We're doing it because we're covering really well. I think Cincinnati's a really good football team, and I think they threw for 300 some yards this past game against Bowling Green. So it wasn't like they threw for 69 against us. I just think we have excellent players in the secondary, and Malcolm came out of the game. He got a little dinged up. Came out of the game. Jameer went in. He played. Justin Rhett went in the game and played. Rex Guthrie he's coming on every single day. Caleb Benning's coming on every single day. Donnie Jones, like we had a package for him this week where he was a starter in, and I put him in a black shirt for this week because I think he's ready to go in a lot of different packages. So, I think we just have a lot of really good players in the secondary. I think Addison, Snow, DeMichael have done a good job. And I'll just tell you, I was as excited as I've ever been in the fourth quarter, just watching like Sierra, Deshaun, Keese, Marshall, the way they were just like cheering on and getting on the young guys when they got out there to play. And some guys went out there and played really well. Jeremiah Charles gets a chance to play. He can play. Larry Tarver can play. Like a bunch of these guys are going to be the starters next year when all these seniors graduate. So for them to get reps, I thought was really good. But yeah, we've got a good secondary, and John does a great job in terms of the calls. We're playing a ton of man, we're staying on guys right now and making some contested plays on the ball, which is good. You're getting guys are making a catch, and we're kind of getting the ball out. So we'll have to just continue that.
Last year, Singleton kind of had to ease into the season, right, because of his injury. This year, Singleton obviously just going full bore in. How much has that affected the secondary?
Yeah, I think they've had he's been able to practice. One of the reasons why he decided to come back was because, look at his history. Like he's never even truly had like a true off season, right? Being at JC and then been here. So all the things that we want to do in the off season, I think, when we switched his position and moved him what we call the rover, we're really playing with a nickel and two safeties, right? So he's playing the field safety. So, he plays man on number 3 and at 6'3", 6'2.5", whatever he is, 210, 50, whatever he is, 15, 10, 8, I don't know. I should know it, but I don't. He's not just a box safety. He's going down and playing man, which to me is like, that's what elevates you from like day 3, day 2 into like early day 2, day 1 in terms of getting drafted by having the ability to play man. Even like he made the pass breakup last week on third down and quarters, they're coning off, 2 and 3 and 3 breaks flat. He drives on it, makes a play on the ball. But I think it's a lot of that is just those guys also being together. The communication, our defense is one in which there's a lot of communication required, motion, things like that. And we weren't great the first game. We were much better the second game. So I think having him has been really vital. And then I think he challenged himself this game. He was significantly better, like getting downhill and striking people this game. Like, I think I told you guys I showed like 10 or 12 plays of Buda Baker, who's one of my favorite players in the National Football League I ever went against when I was there, like just coming downhill and running and striking. And you saw Deshaun and you saw Marquise. I thought they played 2 of their best games in terms of, running angles and coming downhill and trying to take up ground. So I think having like that veteran group back there has been really settling.
He's a big fan and led you guys out on the field last year. Any thoughts on the Bud Crawford fight Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's a theme that we're talking about as a team this whole week. That's one of our themes. I had a chance to go to Bud's send off, and as I told our team, we hope that we have a great year, and we hope that next year's a great year. We hope that when you look at our sidelines, all these Husker fans, but like Bud's one of the OGs, right? He's one of the original ones, right? Like he came out there for Colorado for us last year, when we hadn't beaten Colorado. So I'm grateful him and who he is, and he's made it, yet he still continues to live in his community and pour into Omaha and pour into the kids in the community. So I think he's a role model for all of us who are blessed to give back. But what I love about Bud is, he's going to go out and fight Saturday night, and he's a first ballot pro boxing Hall of Famer, right? And he's certainly not just doing it for the money, right? Like, and so he's risking his legacy because he wants to go out and he wants to be the first person to be 3 times unified champion. You know what I mean? Like no one's ever done it before. And so what I love about him is he could just sit back and be like, no, I'm not going to fight. No, I'm not going to fight Canelo. I'm the greatest there ever was, but he's going to risk the chance when you step in the ring. Who knows what he's going to risk that because he's such a competitor that he can't stand the fact that he has a chance to do something that no one else has done. Because I believe 2 people have done 2 times unified or multiple, like 2 different weight classes, I believe, but no one's done 3. So he has a chance to go. So he's going to go up in weight and challenge himself in weight and be the underdog for the first time ever. But he doesn't care about any of that because he doesn't care what other people say. He's a competitor. He's going to go out there and he expects to win. And so you think about like a message for our guys, yeah. One thing I keep telling them is like, if the pressure, like, oh my gosh, the pressure to perform feels like too much right now. Just wait. Like the pressure doesn't go away. Like it doesn't go away. And it makes you either fight or flight. And some people would flee. And what I love about Bud Crawford is he just no pun intended. He fights. He accepts the challenge. He moves forward. He puts his city, his state, his legacy on his back, and he goes out there and he risks it all in the ring because he's the ultimate competitor. And so that's the analogy for our team. For us on this, there was a blood moon last night, so I think that those are pretty cool things, kind of a red eclipse. And, when they say the history, you go back to like Asia and all across the world, and people saw like the blood moons, the red moon, the orange moon, whether they thought like the wolf was trying to eat the moon or, a dragon was trying to eat the moon, it usually means that there's a war coming. It usually means there's some period of war coming, and that's what I think Saturday night for Bud. So we're Team Bud Crawford, and you know what? Canelo's one of the greatest. We respect them, but we are Team Crawford around here. So, but I think it's just a great message for our team, right? Like, don't just sit there and hope that you get accolades. Risk it all. Risk it all to be great. Thanks, guys.
That's a hell of a dismount.
Oh, that was 45 minutes. Almost. That was 40 minutes.
It's Michigan Week Part 1.
That's 40 minutes.
You got to bring it.
And they got the blood moon, the history of Asia and
war.
With the war. It usually means there's war coming. So there's a war coming. We got Bud. I love that. That guy just loves saying words so much.
Unless you ask if the offensive line got a push, and then he's just going to say,
like, I thought they were good.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Whatever. We'll be back. Just a quick recap of that. The main message on this glorious Blood Moon Michigan Part 1 Houston Christian Week.
We're going to war!
After this on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Husker Review Monday is powered by McKinnis Roofing and Sheet Metal. Looking for trusted experts to protect and enhance your home or business? We are McKinnis, Nebraska and Iowa's go-to choice since 1981. For commercial or residential projects, trust McKinnis Roofing and Sheet Metal. Visit McKinnisInc.com today.
Keep it tasty on
Here's a comment from Kenneth.
Hi, Kenneth.
Rex Hudler, handshake, Matt Rhule, moon is their favorite planet. You know, we had a moon shot on Friday night at the soccer game at Socktoberfest.
A moon shot? What's a moon shot in soccer? I guess I don't know.
No, is a shot of the moon.
Oh, okay.
On the broadcast, and you know, we're gonna come back with this shot of the moon, and like, you know, when the moon is really big, but you don't know if it's a full moon, like,
okay,
it's not an
okay.
official full moon yet.
uh-huh.
So I didn't want to kill people's vibe, but we had this great shot of the moon from downtown. And I was like, sorry, guys, I just don't know if that's a full moon. Let me check. And it wasn't. It's not a full moon. It's a beautiful planet, though.
When is the full moon?
Well, it's a moon. I don't know. Maybe it's a blood moon. I have no idea what's going on with the moon these days, Josh.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay.
Matt Rhule does, though. He knows the history of the moon.
The history of the full moon.
The history of the moon. Check out.
It was yesterday.
What's our moon map looking like?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yes, and it was the corn moon.
Is that the blood moon? Is
Apparently.
the harvest moon?
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe that's why they did that, and they're not going to wear red jerseys after all.
Huh.
I don't know where this whole somebody must know something about this whole red jerseys thing.
They must, right?
Because I haven't heard anything about this, and all of a sudden, my timeline was filled last night of a moon picture and people speculating that they could be wearing red jerseys.
There it is.
I'm like, wait a minute. What does one have to do with the other? Matt Rhule just explained it. He goes, I think a blood moon means war. There's a war coming. I think he's talking about the Michigan game because this is Michigan week part 1. Unless they really want to be at war with Houston Christian, which I don't know. He talked about them. He was like, that's a great program. I'd rather not play Houston Christian
than Villanova. Imagine playing Villanova.
I hate playing Villanova. A bunch of winners. And Josh did the good tweet. I hated playing Villanova. Matt Rhule handshake meme Jays fans.
Honk, honk.
And then I tweeted out a picture of Eric Dixon. And people got triggered. Which is great. All right, so here's your recap, basically.
All right.
Here's the notes that I took. I Matt McMastered some things.
You're always prepping.
I at one point, for the record, I walked out of the studio for 5 minutes at one point. It was at the start. We were going slow. There wasn't anything. I knew that we were gonna ramp up to something, you know, like we're running it's the Daytona 500. Nothing really happens until about the 250th lap.
Right.
I don't know or how many laps are there in the Daytona 500? 200.
Sure.
Nothing happens until the 100th lap, whatever it might be. Racing. It was a great analogy for me to make. Rhule said he was pissed at halftime. He said, I don't want to be a joke. I want to be a football place. The other team is supposed to walk up to their AD and say, don't ever schedule them again, which is great. It's awesome. He when he does his Monday press conference, like he is truly, this is the message. It's going to be loud and clear all week long, and I want you to know about this. He's also trying to manipulate some. I think he's trying to kind of Michael Jordan this week a little bit too.
Definitely.
So he did this thing about how, you know, he felt like he didn't specifically call out Akron, but he was like, hey, if there's 40 seconds to go before halftime and the other team is dropping back with you with 40 seconds to go and they think they can drive the field, they clearly don't respect you. I'm like, wait a minute. Hey, is that true? Is that true? He said, if they defer, well, then they expect it to be a game in the second half. That means they don't respect you. I'm like, this is awesome. I love all of this. He also said TJ Lateef exhibited confidence. So that's Matt Rhule today. And then talked a lot about Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez and the moon. And the moon.
Just didn't see that coming.
No.
How could I guess?
I mean, if we should just take random words from throughout so today's word bubble would have been like Villanova, blood moon, joke, disrespect, Canelo Alvarez. What's he talking about? I have no idea. And then we just have to piece it together afterwards. How did he possibly hit all those things while talking for 40 minutes consecutively? I'm continually impressed by Matt Rhule. But he still has a way of like sometimes maybe at the end we're sitting here like, can we get this over with? But also like he kind of gets you fired up. You know what he's talking about. You could see what the message was when he walked in that locker room on Saturday when it was 24-0 or 26-0 or something like that at halftime, and Nebraska was winning, and like here comes everybody's celebrating in there. They're like, hell yeah, we got this. Let's just take the second half off. We're chilling. Matt Rhule comes walking in, and there's just like a silence and a sharpness to him, and he's like, they don't respect you. You have to make them want to keel over and die on the field. But
what coach? Coach, I thought we were doing pretty well.
No, you're not doing very well. They don't respect you. They better be in the third quarter running home to their mommies. Mommy, it's your mommy. They better be running home. Because what you did is not warranting that so far. 26-0. Is this a joke? They almost made a field goal. They hit it off the upright. Could you believe that?
They haven't scored a point all year.
They hit it off the upright.
You want to be the first?
They haven't scored a point since the boys were in Vegas.
That you are the boys.
I am the boys. I am one of the boys.
You were telling people you respect it.
I didn't know at the time how much I respected Akron being able to get those points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Matt Rhule is he's crazy, and he's got to find some way to motivate these guys before Houston Christian Week, and that's exactly what he did today. Exactly what he did. From the 402.
Hi, 402.
He just talks so fast. His press conferences are exhausting to listen to. He does say so many words within a very short period of time. So many words.
But it always amazes me going that fast. He's always able to, like, okay, how is what I'm about to say going to be perceived so that I can couch it with like, I'm not saying Akron's a bad football team, but they do suck.
He's doing the whole thing. He's trying to make everybody happy, but he's also, talking to his team. Also, we're Team Bud Crawford up in here.
Just want to be crystal clear about that.
Speaking of coaches doing press conferences today, let's check in quickly with Steve Sarkisian. Sark, after Texas beat San Jose State over the weekend, there was a clip that was going around of Arch Manning throwing the football and wincing as he was throwing the football. Have you seen this, Josh?
No, I have not.
Yeah, so it led to some speculation online that he was hurt, and he was obviously bad against Ohio State, and this throw in particular where he was wincing and his arm release is already wonky, and the ball, was 10 feet short of anywhere where it was supposed to go. And so people are like, oh, I think I see what's going on. He's hurt. Here is Sark on that today. This is from Chris Vanini of The Athletic. Steve Sarkisian says Arch Manning isn't dealing with any arm pain and dismisses the idea that he was grimacing. Well, I saw it. He was grimacing. But anyway, quote, I've never filmed any of you guys when you're using the bathroom, so I don't know what kind of faces you're making.
What?
Nice of Sark to say that. Now I definitely believe him.
What does me going to the bathroom have to do with any of it?
He's saying, why do we care about what his face does when he's throwing the football? I guess that's what he's trying to say.
Okay.
Like if we filmed you while you were peeing, what kind of faces would you be making? Probably just a normal one.
Yeah.
Just like I would be if I was throwing a football too. I don't know if his analogy really works, but it is a quote that exists in the universe right now. So thank you, Sark, for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you, Sark.
Appreciate it. When we come back, I have my proclamation. Sam McKewon will join us at 1. There is still plenty to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown. Only a couple controversies coming out of the weekend, things that people are annoyed about or have directed their anger toward. Number one, of course, was the line for the concessions and the difficulty to move about Memorial Stadium.
Where are the hawkers?
May I remind you that Memorial Stadium is 1 billion years old, and it was the first game of the year in this very drastic change. So maybe just chill out. Okay.
Interesting.
That would be my first word of advice. Maybe we could talk about that if we have time a little bit later. And the other one,
I feel pretty comfortable with saying that from the press box, don't you, Connor?
I do. I don't have to wait for any food unless there is usually a big line for popcorn at halftime.
How was your night coffee?
It was good. It was good. I had it early. I had it. I had it in like the second quarter.
Big day.
Yeah, it was good. I had a big weekend. I was gassed last night. It was tough. Anyway. And then the other controversy was ESPN. ESPN apparently updated like every other player stat from around the country this weekend, except for the Nebraska Akron game until I think it was maybe as late as this morning. So
it was into our show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So when you looked at the national like passing leaders, you would find that Dylan Raiola had only had 240 whatever yards passing from the Cincinnati game. And he was like, 100th in the country or in the 90s or something like that. And you're like, hey, he threw for 360 in this game. Can I get a little bit of that? He threw for 364 on Saturday. And so now our national nightmare has ended. Dylan Raiola, with his 607 passing yards, currently ranks 15th in America. 6 touchdowns and no interceptions. And several of the quarterbacks who are above him have played 3 games.
Oh.
Avery Johnson, with Avery Johnson's dad. Jalen Daniels, wasn't KU a week 0 team?
They were.
So I think was UNLV a week 0 team, I think, as well.
Sounds right.
Yeah, because they had to play early because of the Bud fight.
That's right. We're Team Bud Crawford here.
That's right. We're Team Bud Crawford here. Shout out to the Blood Boot. So Dylon, yes, you can now look at it in all its glory. Statistically, one of the better quarterbacks in America at this moment, and you do not have to keep tweeting at ESPN to update the stats. And then, as a result of this ESPN snafu, Bill Connolly did his SP Plus this morning, and Nebraska did not move at all in the SP Plus, and he found out, obviously, from the Nebraska fans who were yelling at him, what the hell, Nebraska won 68-0 against Akron. Shouldn't they have gotten at least a little bump from this? And the answer was yes, but the numbers that he used were ESPN's numbers, and they didn't have the player updates yet. So Nebraska, in his now re-released SP Plus, did get quite a significant bump because they had an incredibly efficient night, both offensively and defensively in the game, except for those 2 possessions in the first half where they gave it up on the 1-yard line.
Thought we might have had something to talk about Monday, and then it didn't matter.
That's okay.
I knew it wouldn't matter at the time, but still thought it was something we could nitpick. Now I can't even nitpick it.
If it was like 33-3 or something like that, we would have been like, oh, those possessions the first half, it could have been 52-3. But nope, 68-0 fixes a lot of the problems.
Really does.
So here's my proclamation.
Okay.
Dylan Raiola is good.
You say he's good. Not great.
No. With very little available room, he is good. I trust him, right? And he's my guy. I'm ready to say it. And I don't know that many people are. We talked about this a little bit with Schaefer earlier. I think he's an excellent football player.
He can make all the throws. He clearly understands the game at a high level. He's incredibly talented. And he's now has the stats to prove it through 2 weeks. That's something that he didn't necessarily have last year, especially when it went sideways and it got a little wonky. But there is something about him that Nebraska, I sense this. There is just something about him that Nebraska fans, they have yet to be like, no, this is my guy. Have some respect for him. You hear Rhule talking about it all the time. Rhule's like, hey, he's talked about it after the Cincinnati game. I don't know a quarterback who completed 33 passes last week. Why isn't he getting talked about this way? And this week is one of the better, statistical games from a quarterback that has been around here in a long time. 24 of 31, 364 yards, 4 touchdowns, 77% completion rate. He made some wow throws. It wasn't just like stuff that was schemed up. His throw to Key in the back of the end zone was incredible. Put the right touch on balls, like got his players in the right stuff and all of those things. But I sense this like hesitation from people to really get behind him and continue to elevate him, to prop him up. You need the fan base of the team that you're playing for to say, listen, this is one of the best kept secrets in America, and we're not trying to keep it a secret anymore. I don't know how it's one of the best kept secrets in America. He's a 5-star quarterback who had all the accolades coming in, but for some reason, all anybody ever talks about with him is he looks like Patrick Mahomes, and he's got a funny haircut. He's cosplaying Patrick Mahomes. I would assume for Matt Rhule that he is probably a little bit sick of that at this point. That's why you've heard him talk about him that way before.
Well, then why did Dylon force his tight end to get it publicly engaged over the weekend?
It's a great question. I think there's one more. We're going to take a couple calls on this. Actually, we'll take a break and then we'll take a couple calls on this. So hang on with us. But I do think there's one more step for him. I think this is what's missing. I don't know what this will look like. I don't know when it will come. But he needs something to happen. He needs a thing that makes this fan base say, I will follow you into the mists of Avalon, if that's what you mean. You know what I mean?
He needs a drive. He needs a play, a signature.
Something tough, like gets smacked around and pops right back up and says, Rah! One of those deals. Yeah, it gives the first down sign, one of those. Maybe it happens in the Michigan game, but something that stands out. I think that's the one thing people are missing with him. I need him to feel like he's ours. Right now, he's got the stats. You love what you see. Everything from the eye test checks out. But he's not ours yet. When's that moment coming? It's coming soon.
It's percolating.
Right? It's coming soon, and that's when the train really takes off. Let's take a quick break. I do want to take those calls. Just 2 minutes. Hang on with us, Kent and Don. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back for the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Some of your guys' thoughts on what needs to happen for Dylon. Let's go to the YouTube comments. Here's Travis. Standing tall in the pocket, delivering an absolute dime right as he gets wrecked by some defensive fatty. Alex says stepping into a downfield throw to hit Ja'Cory Barney down the sideline in stride for a touchdown, all while taking a lick from a blitzing linebacker would do it. All right.
I feel like you guys are saying the same
I think
thing.
you guys got some ideas. Let's head to the phones on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Don is up first. Hey, Don, what's going on?
Oh, not too much. I don't need anything, man. I'm 100% behind him. He's ours.
Okay, you're in. You're all the way in. You had a comment about Latif, right?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
After watching him play that whatever quarter he played or how many drives, I don't want to see Harburg under center ever again.
Oh, trust me, that's not.
Just
I mean,
let
the only
Latif
way
be
he's
the
getting
guy.
the only way he's getting under center is for tush pushes.
And that didn't even work, though. I don't know if that was his fault or the Lions. I guess I'm not an expert on that stuff, but
Yeah.
no, he's my guy. I'm 100% with him. He just bet of the weekend was him over 1.5 touchdown throws.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was the best one. That was like stealing.
Well done, Don. Nice job.
All right, boys. Have a good
Okay.
day.
So yeah, that I mean, I didn't really think about it from the Harburg standpoint. I didn't know that was still kind of hanging on in people's minds. Like, hey, if TJ Latif doesn't do well here, then do they need to, move Harburg back into more of a backup quarterback role? But no, I mean, that could be a great lesson that we all learned on Saturday night. Harburg is really coming to his own as a blocker, as a tight end. He sprung a couple runs in that game, and then TJ Latif came in and looked very, very serviceable as a backup quarterback. And as Rhule said after the game, he is the backup quarterback. So,
got some bad news, Connor.
What?
Just had a drive-by call.
What do you mean drive-by call?
Radio term for caller wanted to.
I don't want to
pass
go on the
something.
air.
Yeah, but you need to pass it along.
All right.
Caller very, very upset.
What?
At your infantile antics in purposefully mispronouncing our quarterback's name.
I didn't even say Dylon in this segment, have I?
Dylon? I don't know.
In the press box on Saturday, the interior PA.
Ooh. Yeah, go on.
He said Dylon.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No way.
He said Dylon.
Cool.
Bill Bryant, longtime interior PA at Memorial Stadium. He ripped off a nice little Dylon, and I was like, what? Or maybe he said Dylon.
Now that's purposefully mispronouncing the name.
Infantile.
We're making a reference to a very popular juvenile show, Chappelle's Show.
Dylon, because I spit hot fire.
Name the 5 hottest rappers of all
So
time.
is this drive-by caller blaming me for people not getting on the Dylon Dylan hype train,
Ooh. No, that person was clearly on it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm on it. I just said I was on it.
Might be the conductor. You called him good.
It's a nickname. It's
term of endearment.
It's a term of endearment. Thank you, Josh. It's a term of endearment. That's how I mean it.
Guessing this caller also never seen Chappelle's Show before.
Probably not. Here's another phone call on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Here's Kent. Hey, Kent.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Great.
Yeah, here's my theory on why the fandom base hasn't really embraced him yet. For decades, we've only had these dynamic quarterbacks who've had to do it all. And now we have a quarterback who's playing the role, playing the position like it should be played. He's making the reads, he's calling the audibles, and he's throwing dimes. And I don't think we're just used to seeing that.
Yeah. Hey, Kent, people do love a runner. They love a runner.
Yeah. And that's all we've had with Adrian Martinez, Taylor Martinez. We had some dynamic players that had to do it all. And now we got a guy who's really, like Coach Rhule said, making all the right plays. It's fantastic. I love him. I think he's going to go far. I can't believe he's already in the top 10 in passing yards for the school in his 15th game.
Is he really? I didn't really even notice that. I'll double check on that, but I would believe you. I believe you.
I saw that written down someplace. I didn't check it to make sure, but I think he's already. Yeah, he's going to scorch some records here in Nebraska.
I think so. Thanks for the call, Kent. Appreciate it. He'll be here. If he stays healthy, he'll be here the rest of this year and then next year, and then he's done. He's going pro.
Whoa.
I just want
breaking news here.
No, I just want. I'm not Archie Manning deciding when people go pro or not, but I just want you guys to know that if everything goes well for the next 2 years, that's definitely what's happening. You guys understand that, right?
Yes.
Okay. We shouldn't be mad at anybody for going pro after 3 years because that's a good thing, Josh. Do we know that?
Yes, that would be good.
Okay.
Yes, right?
Okay. Good. Yeah, some Dylan stuff. Let me see if it's in Keith's post game. Completed his first 9 passes in the game after completing his final 11 against Cincinnati. 20 consecutive completions, breaks the Nebraska school record by 5 over Dave Hum's 15 straight at Kansas in 1974. Most passing yards in a game since Adrian Martinez threw for 384 at Wisconsin in 18. 4 touchdowns, first time Husker quarterback has thrown 4 touchdowns since Riker Fife in the Purdue game 2015.
Whoa, Riker Fife mentioned.
300. Here it is. 364 passing yards. Raiola increases career passing total to 3,426, moving him into 10th place. Nebraska career passing list all time. That is ridiculous. Okay. That is, and all the credit to Dylon in the world.
Whoa.
All the
Infantile.
credit, all the credit to him in the world. But my God, all you have to do to be a top 10 passer in school history is 3,400 yards. I think Joe Burrow did that in 2 quarters at LSU in 2019.
I think Josh Allen did that last night.
I think Josh Allen did it last night. I'm drunk now. So, yes, he is. It's confirmed. He's a top 10 passer in school history. He will likely be. He'll have a chance to break number 1 just by being here through next year. If they get a couple extra games in there, that'll help him too. And I do think we'll talk about this with Sam. But I do think Rhule, it wasn't so much of proving a point as it was, telling his team, like, hey, look, like we could do this too. You heard him say it again today. You see Alabama win 74-0 or whatever it was against UL Monroe. Like that team needed that.
I'm used to that.
We watch some of the best teams in the country absolutely destroy
Oklahoma
bad teams all the time. Why can't we do it? Why does there have to be some weird consternation in our fan base after the game about how we only won 34-3 and we let the pedal off the gas in the second half?
There's no halftime interview with Matt Rhule where it starts off with him saying, it's bad.
It's bad. He also mentioned that Colorado game today. So I'm not saying I kind of wanted to make this about Dylon, but and you guys have thoughts on it, but we can mix the other topic in here too. They had their backups in at like a normal time, like he didn't really run up the score. They did some stuff. To the earlier caller's point, Latif got in there. He was nice. But I do think they wanted to get Dylan a nice stat game. I think Rhule is pretty sick of people talking about him the way that they talk about him. I think he wants the fan base to fully get on board with him. And the last caller is right. We love a runner. And for some reason, I don't know. Like, I'd rather have my quarterback throwing for 364 yards on 77% completion rate than, having him pass for 250 and run for 100 and having the risk of injury all the time. We love the wild plays, though. And Rhule very clearly cared deeply about the shutout in that game.
You had an inkling before the presser, after the presser, absolute certainty based on that halftime speech he revealed.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They don't respect you.
We've seen close games before. I mean, Colorado last year is a prime example of this. They were up 28-0 at
Prime
halftime. They were up 28-0 at halftime. And what happened in the second half? Nothing. They let up 10 points.
Yeah.
It was never really a competitive game. It was just no fire. It was lackluster. They sat on it. And what impact did that have on the remainder of their season? Who knows? But I know when people called it the Big Red Overreaction live from the choo-choo train afterwards, when we were doing it in the North Bottoms last year,
yeah,
people were not as celebratory as they should have been because they beat Colorado. And the party was not reflective in the second half as it was several minutes into the game after Nebraska took a quick lead and had the pick six by Tommy Hill. It was a party. And the end of the game was not a party. Nebraska had an opportunity in that game to step on the throat, and they took their foot off. Nebraska had an opportunity to step on the throat the other night, and they pressed it harder. On the other hand, yes, that may have been one of the worst FBS teams I've ever laid eyes upon.
Not good.
Good take, Josh.
Thank you.
Not good at all.
Ball knower.
But yeah, I think that's kind of what it was about on Saturday night for Nebraska. Okay. People suggesting things that Dylan needs to do.
Ooh, okay.
From the 402.
Hi, 402.
Actually, is this the this person texted in last maybe the okay. He needs to run in for a score. He almost did. There he had the little spinny spin on Saturday night.
Yeah, he did get close, didn't he? Yeah.
I'm cool. He could do whatever,
That'll come.
Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
I do think the Mahomes stuff will hurt his draft stock, fair or not. Jeff also says loyal listeners of the show know his real name is Dylon.
Infantile audience.
Travis says, I want my quarterback to have a mobility / escapability. I don't want them to be a running quarter. But like, that's not the reason why people hated Tanner Lee. Like, people didn't. I loved the idea of Tanner Lee. I knew Tanner Lee wasn't going to be running around all over the place. He didn't have any sort of escapability to him. But the reason that people didn't like Tanner Lee is because he threw picks all the time. And pick sixes mostly.
Poll question. Did you love the idea of Tanner Lee?
I loved the idea of Tanner Lee. A quarterback that can make all the throws. A quarterback that could spin it a little bit. I don't care about his ability to run. Like, that's a preference one way or the other. But if you got a quarterback who could throw it with the best with some of the best in the country, then how are we not appreciating that? I see Matt Rhule's point.
I'll take a very, very, very good thrower and omit some of the running that it is very aesthetically pleasing. Don't get me wrong, but if you've got an elite thrower, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. That should get you there.
Mm-hmm.
Brian says,
Brian,
take the gas off the pedal, Connor. LOL. Did I not? I'm sorry.
If you said that, I missed it. I believe you said it though.
Also, Brian follows up. Why are we not hearing Husker fans talk about how they missed out on signing Zane Flores? OSU had a tough matchup, but he did not look good on Saturday. Yeah, in Oklahoma. Yeah, I don't know. That is far from my brain right now. It's a great point, Brian, but forgive me, I haven't thought about that in multiple years.
I got quarterback blinders on. I can't be looking at other.
Maybe that's what Brian is saying. Like maybe, if Dylon wasn't good right now, then people would be talking about Zane Flores. Is that what he's trying to say?
Well, when Zane went to Okie State, a lot of the fan base was like, how'd you let that guy get out of the state borders?
Including me.
Yeah.
I said, I believe my quote was Scott Frost should go to jail for not offering Zane Flores. Still believe that.
Yes.
still believe that for the record. John emails in on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, John.
Dear drive-by caller, calling a radio show that you have obviously never listened to complain about something you heard but not be willing to go on air is very infantile. Go touch grass. I did not say that. I did not say that.
I mean, he's right. We are infantile.
And then Eric.
But that's by design.
Eric says Tater Martinez had an awesome I don't know what he's trying to say. It looks like a mistype in some way. Better backs, better wide receiver, better defense. What an idiot. Arrogant Fremont. I think we've lost the plot here. Also, I've received a text that, so I never got straight on this. Is it truly Zane Flores?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when we had that conversation and then we had to retrain our brains to say Zane? Now everyone's just gone back. Since he didn't come here, everybody's just gone back to Zane Flores. So I got a text from Padilla. He's like, hey, look, it's Flores, buddy.
Whoa.
He wasn't that antagonistic
Okay.
about it, but he said it's Flores. I remember that conversation.
Man.
No, we could do it again. I just didn't know if that was real. I thought somebody made that up.
I see with my eyes, and that's Flores, man.
Now I have
Your name's Joe Dirt.
Now I have a text from Mike Sauter. It's Flores.
Your favorite sports show's favorite sports show.
It's Flores.
The floor's pretty low right now.
Zane Flores. Forgive me.
Headline for you.
Now, question for you listeners.
Question for you.
I did not watch any of that crap on Saturday. Did the broadcasters know that it was Flores? Does it say it in the media guide that it's Flores?
These are good questions. It was also on 1620 The Zone for a little bit before the pregame show.
I didn't listen to that part either. I was in Lincoln hanging out with my dear friends, Maddie and Tay. Yes. What a great time that was. I think I'm doing one more Cornhusker kickoff.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Who will the illustrious musical guest be?
I don't know.
Now, when Maddie...
It's not Maddie and Tay every week.
When Maddie and Tay walked off the stage, did they say, "Get me to God's country"?
I don't know what they said.
Okay.
But when they got done, I came onto the PA and I said, please leave, everyone. Time to go watch football.
You do not have to go home, but you cannot stay here.
Mm-hmm. Please just exit the facility. And that was my responsibility. We could have had Maddie and Tay do it, but they left it to me. All right.
I can't believe you didn't talk to Maddie and Tay.
I didn't talk to them.
And or Tay.
I didn't talk to them. They got security.
Oh, wow.
From the 402,
Hi, 402.
the broadcasters did say Flores.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. It's done. It's over. It's Flores. When we come back, Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald is going to join us. And we have much to talk about on 1620 The Zone.
Sam McKewon is the newsman. Sam McKewon, Omaha World Herald. On the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Sam, good afternoon. What's up?
What's up, man? I'm all right. Kind of a nice day. Matt Rhule was pretty quick today, about half hour.
No, I don't know. It was probably closer to 40. Well, I felt like he dragged out the last 10 minutes or so.
He did. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, well, I mean, we kept asking questions, though, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And he had to talk about Bud Crawford and blood moons and things like that.
Yeah, well, like he would be a fun guy to be around, I think, because you get a couple of stories, you get some comments about Bud. Obviously, that's a big fight this weekend, and I know a lot of people who are interested in it. It doesn't necessarily move the needle with like 20-somethings, but there's a lot of folks who are really intrigued by the fight, and I know Matt Rhule is one of them.
Also, it's right smack dab in the middle of football season. Like if you do it if you do it in March, maybe people react differently around here.
They do, yeah. He's fought some of his largest fights right around now, so that's just kind of the way he works, and he's got a tall order, one of his toughest fights ever. I do give him a really good chance of winning, but it will not be easy.
What purpose did Saturday night serve? You wrote about this sort of idea in your rewind. Nebraska got the beat down of epic proportions. It's been a while since it felt like that. There are very few complaints coming out of Memorial Stadium that actually happened on the field in a 68-0 win. What does that do for this team this season?
Well, I think it just puts a spring in their step, and it also gives them a sense of what it looks like to play and have success against a team like Akron, and to some degree what Houston Christian is going to be. I actually think Houston Christian might be a better team overall. We'll see, but I think it gives you a sense of how you can conduct yourself in a game like that, where you're not coming off a loss like Alabama was and playing ULM and beating them 73-0. Mm-hmm. And you're also not playing a brand name team the way that some people will be doing this weekend. So yeah, I think that's part of it. Is it just gives you a sense of the culture and a sense of how you want to conduct yourself, and you want to play when you should win and you're the better team. And I take that as a step forward. I mean, I think Nebraska's had a number of situations in recent years where they show up to these games and they just don't play well. I mean, they lost to Northern Illinois in 17, and Troy in 18, and Georgia Southern in 22, and you got to go play these football games. And I feel like Matt Rhule's got them in a good headspace where they do play these football games pretty well.
Sam, you watch a lot of Big Ten football.
Yeah.
How well is Dylan Raiola playing right now compared to the rest of the quarterbacks in the league?
He's playing well. I think he's doing a good job of staying on schedule, not making the big mistake. Obviously, there's some other quarterbacks in the league that are also playing really well. Dante Moore's playing well at Oregon, and I think he's actually played quite well so far. I think Luke Altmaier's played pretty well. He's made some mistakes, but not too many, and he's played well. And so there's been some guys that have definitely stepped up, and then you have the other side of the coin with Iowa, where they paid $1 million for that guy or whatever they paid for him, and they're not using him in the right way, I don't think, and he's also not playing great. So, I think you can look at it both ways. I think Dylan's probably upper 4, upper 5 in the league at this point. And yeah, I have watched quite a bit, and he's doing a really nice job. And he's a little different, I think, than maybe what Washington's guy's doing, and he's playing really well. Dylan's more like a Drew Aller, and I think he's stacking up well. So I would say that Raiola is off to a really good start.
Okay, quick aside. What should Iowa do with Gronowski?
Well, they should embrace, running an offense where he is a runner.
He's a runner. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought they were going to do in the first place. And it's just the same.
Well, they get pretty stuck. And there's reasons why you don't, and we've covered this many years when Nebraska had a running quarterback, that running quarterbacks tend to turn the ball over more. They don't always do it with interceptions. A lot of times they'll do it with fumbles. But for example, everybody thinks Lenora Sellers is, the greatest quarterback since sliced bread down there, and he's very good. But he had 12 fumbles last year, and that's what happens when you get running quarterbacks is they fumble the ball and they turn it over. And so I think one of the things that people are kind of paying attention to is, does Iowa want to risk that? And I do think they should. I think they should get to the point where they're a lot more comfortable just running the football with him and getting him out on the edge. And then when you start doing that a little bit, you create some situations where maybe you can get the throw game going a little. And they had that a little bit with Brendan Sullivan last year. They kind of ran Sullivan out or something because he went to Tulane. If this is what they were going to do with Gronowski, they would have been better off just sticking with Sullivan. But we'll see. They can grow in their pass game, and maybe they've got some other things in the works. But he looks really nervous too. He just doesn't look. He don't look right. He doesn't look comfortable. And that's been Iowa's issue for some time now is their quarterback play.
Okay, so back to Raiola. The way you view it, Sam, is how much is he elevating Nebraska right now? Right? I don't know if that's the exact right way to put it, but I mean, you mentioned if he's playing like a top 5 quarterback in the league, and you got a lot of schools out there with league average or above replacement level quarterback play. How much is Raiola elevating Nebraska's offense, given that they do have some more weapons around him this year?
Well, I think he is elevating them, but it isn't necessarily always in ways that you can see or measure. So I think part of what happens is your skill guys get a measure of confidence and execution within the context of practice. And I think Dylan is probably really good in practice. I think he engenders confidence there. So I think the players go into the games going, yeah, we feel good about what we're gonna do with this guy throwing the football. And then he does some pre-snap stuff that I don't think we always appreciate, that gets him into the right play and gets him out of some disasters. A quarterback and an offensive coordinator is never going to be 100% on like just hitting great play after great play. What you want to do is you do want to get your quarterback to the point where he's getting you out of plays that are going to be total disasters. And I think he does that. Like, they haven't had any, train wreck plays this year from what I can recall. I mean, they've had some negative plays, but they haven't had plays where it's like, man, that was the wrong play for that situation and they could not block it. They've been better than that for the majority of the season. So I think those are 2 ways that he elevates them without it becoming like absolutely obvious to everybody in place that that's what he's doing. But I do think it's real. And I think he's captured the confidence of his teammates. And as a result, they're keeping plays alive. Dane Key came from one side of the field all the way over to the other on a scramble drill and gave Dylan Raiola an opportunity to throw a really, really good touchdown. And I don't know that happens if Dane's not confident that getting to that spot is what he needs to do in order to give Dylan a chance. So, I think he's doing a good job of elevating the confidence of his teammates.
What did we learn about running backs that are not named Emmett Johnson on Saturday night?
I think we've learned that, Mekhi Nelson's dangerous in the open field. Isaiah Mosey is sort of a running back, he kind of played wide receiver on Saturday. And Quentin Ives can take one to the house if he's got a big runway to do so. Thought he did a nice job in a couple of his carries. He's still got to get better as a power carrier. We didn't delve into that with Rhule today. And honestly, I don't know. I think they've got things to work on with their red zone run game and we'll see how that goes this week. they've got some things to work on there. So I think they're good. We still have to see more, and I think we have to see it in the context of a game where things are in doubt, and it's third down, and you need to make a play, and Emmett's off the field for whatever reason, and you're looking around and wondering who's going to step up and do something. So I think that's still a work in progress, Connor. But I'm not going to overdo it. I understand what the coaching staff is saying and like how they feel about it and what they want to say and the promotion they want to do through the media, but I'm not going to overdo the running back thing until we see it, for at least 3 or 4 more games, and we see it in a big game, not against Akron.
This one's to pin for the future, but you mentioned that red zone stuff and the 2 first half drives that went all the way down to the 1 that didn't result in any points for Nebraska. What's the answer there? I mean, they tried Harburg, and then obviously you had the fumble. Is it creativity? Is it putting the ball in Dylan's hands and letting him make reads and stuff like that? Like how it's complicated for Nebraska if they don't feel like they maybe have the right offense and the right setup to get those important last few yards.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I could give it a long conversation, but I'll just point out 2 things. One, I don't like tempo in a low red zone. I haven't liked it since the 2009 title game with Oklahoma and Florida, and Oklahoma's trying to do stuff that they don't need to be trying to do at the half-yard line. I don't like tempo in goal line. I think it's advantageous to the defense because all they have to do is react. They don't have to line up. They can just react. And I think that benefits the defense. So Nebraska doesn't run a lot of tempo, but I'm not a fan of it. 2, if it's an early down, I don't know that I need the tank T formation out there. I've said this before. Like, I get it. It's neat to look at, and it's very powerful. There's a lot of moving parts in those plays. And sometimes, again, defenses that are smaller especially, they just shoot the gap and they get in there, and like it doesn't matter how big the lineman is that's blocking. Like, or if Cam Lenhart is 270 pounds. Like, it's just, sometimes you're better off just running your offense down there. It's first and goal or it's second and goal with the 3. And you just, you know what? You got your usual 11 personnel out there. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. And you're just running slice and you're running inside zone. Like, sometimes I think that's what you need to do. And sometimes I think you can get down in the red zone and it can get a little bit, well, we're going to bring our special run play out here. And, again, it's a compressed red zone and you're running a T tank formation. What else are you going to do? So everybody knows what's going to happen. That's my opinion. I'm not a coach. I'm not a former player. So like, my opinion should be taken with a total grain of salt. But I think those are 2 things worth worrying. And then the tush push from the 1-yard line is not, I wouldn't do that. I think hindsight being 2020, we'll ask Holgerson about it tomorrow. If you're at the 1 or outside the 1, tush push is not what I would run. You better be the Eagles if you're going to run it because you got to be really good at it. 1 yard is a long way for that particular play because you can't, with the tush push, the what do you call it? The variability of width that you're going to run it at is about the width of the center shoulders. And so everybody knows where it's going and you really, so like you better be able to do it in the right way. And so I think that play wasn't going to work. I don't know. There's a lot of different things. I don't love the tush push. I don't love the tank play from 1 first and goal at the half-foot line. Just run it in like you normally would. And I think if they did that, they'd probably be better off.
All right, Sam, we'll let you go. Appreciate it as always. And we'll do it again next week.
Take care, man.
Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. As always, check out his multitudes of content on the Omaha World Herald. Sam is prolific.
Content machine.
He is. There's so many things to write.
And
Sam
AP voter.
And AP voter. And Sam has all the words for it. Sam is always up front with us and how when we ask him about his AP poll, he's like, yeah, you got to understand my AP poll is usually a little bit different than other people's AP polls. I think he did I want to say that I saw that graphic that the Reddit college football page does every week, where it has everyone's. I think Sam had Nebraska in the top 25 this week.
He did.
Okay. Well, there you go. Sam had Nebraska in the top 25 this week. Did anybody else?
Yes. Our friend Wilner Hotline.
Oh, Mr. Wilner.
Had
We got to
them-
talk to that guy.
He had them pretty high.
And then there was people, we can talk about this next, but the slate where the week of the slate where Nebraska's playing Michigan, I don't think that's a particularly strong slate. And people were looking at possible game day locations. Michigan lost, and that kind of hurts it a little bit. And I don't know, maybe if Nebraska wins 150-0 against Houston Christian, they'll say, wow, look at this. We have to go see young Dylon. We have to go see him play.
I think it being a CBS game really hurts it.
Probably. But I don't know what else is going on that week. That's the Illinois-Indiana week, right? There's like nothing really going on.
Gosh. What a week.
I know. We've waited all year for the Illinois-Indiana week, the college football playoff eliminator game.
Let's see. We can figure this out. We're smart people.
Go ahead, Josh. Tell me.
I'm looking.
Oh, you're doing a great job right now.
Yep. Doing a great job of looking.
So you got Nebraska, Michigan, you got Oregon State, you got Florida, Miami, you got Illinois, Indiana, you got South Carolina, Mizzou. That's sort of something. Auburn, Oklahoma is sort of something.
Is it the week they go to like a weird place, like the Kibble Dome or Kitty Dome or?
By the way, once again, I had an argument. I think I told the story on another podcast that I went on this weekend. I can't remember which one. Sorry. But
when did you sleep this weekend?
I didn't, Josh. It was hell, actually.
Wow.
But I was going down the elevator, leaving the stadium on Saturday night, and I was like, yeah, I think it was the conversation was happening. And I think it was, I was like, I think it's their most points scored probably since I was guessing at the time, but it was probably since that 2012 game against Idaho State. And some guy in the elevator, he was a press guy. I never seen him before though. And he was like, wasn't that game against Idaho? And I said, no. And he was like, yeah, I think it was against Idaho, the Vandals, right? And I go, no, it wasn't. I remember it. What are you, 12? They played the Bengals of Idaho State. And I go, it was Idaho State. And he was like, nah, man, I think it was Idaho, the Vandals. And I was like, you're wrong. And then the elevator opened up and I left. So I hope that guy figured out that it was not Idaho. I hate telling people that they're just flat out wrong, but I had to in that situation. It was an error.
I was texting Josh Peterson Saturday night, and I'm like, I have no recollection of that game happening.
I remember that game. Texas Tech, Utah is a game that weekend. Nebraska, Michigan weekend. Purdue, Notre Dame. Ugh.
Okay, do you go check out the $27 bajillion roster at Texas Tech that week?
Maybe. But it's at Utah.
Utah's a lovely place.
Utah is a lovely place.
People forget.
Devin Dampier. He's down there.
I'll be there in a month.
Josh is going on his PJ or whatever, his charter, his CJ to Utah.
Hopefully.
Where they will have no beer for him to drink.
Couldn't imagine driving there.
Josh, don't worry. You'll get a spot. Don't be concerned. All right, we have a quick segment to get to on the other side. Actually, should we just not?
What do you want to do? Let's produce this over the air.
Josh, I have a bone to pick with you.
Please.
You stole
please.
a break from me today. I don't know why.
Because Matt Rhule was talking for
But I planned to do. Remember, we did the extra segment.
Yeah.
We did the extra segment. So I was like,
but then he got to going.
So I said, Josh, here's the plan. I even wrote it on the sheet. I said, here's the plan. Here's what we got. We're going to do this. This is how it's going to look. This is how it's going to be. And then, unbeknownst to me, until about 45 minutes ago, Josh was like, oh, yeah, I deleted one of the breaks because Matt Rhule was yapping for so long. And I was like, Josh, I had it all figured out. We're both trying to produce our own show just differently and without talking to each other.
I'll say this on my part. It is the last time I will ever take initiative again. That one's on me, gang.
No more initiative from Josh.
That one's on me.
Okay.
You do need to tell the fine people about underdogs at some
That's right.
point.
So we should take a break. Let's do that. Let's do that so I can talk about underdog. Hey,
it's great.
Everyone. Yes, it is great. And there is a football game tonight. And football is back. And we love football. Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. And you could play right here in Nebraska. You could play right now while listening to the Connor Happer Show in the state of Nebraska. You could play if you are doing the Connor Happer Show inside of the state of Nebraska. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower. Stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. And if you get those picks right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. So look ahead to tonight where you have Chicago and you have Minnesota. Let's see. Who do we have? Many options like, DJ Moore, 57.5 receiving yards, higher or lower. You choose for yourself. You could go Colston Loveland, Michigan guy, 28.5 receiving yards, higher or lower. It's all there for you. You can slam them all together as well. You should do it and do it now. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code HAPPER1620 and score $50 in bonus bets when you play your first $5. Promo code HAPPER1620. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on underdogs. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
The Connor Happer Show
I told producer Josh I desperately want to go home.
on 1620 The Zone.
Did anybody watch the Archie Wilson lead-in to Sunday Night Football last night?
Archie?
I didn't. I just heard that it happened, and I was walking down in that northeast kind of corner, like right in between the very small space between the northeast corner Memorial Stadium and the new facility. And there was a camera and two people and a camera waiting outside of the Nebraska facility, and out comes Archie Wilson. I was like, oh boy, here's Art. I don't know what kind of news source he's going on with again, but I guess they did like a huge feature on NBC Nightly News, like right before football last night. Like it was like the lead in to Sunday Night Football or Football Night in America.
Whoa, no, I missed this.
Yeah, this is what I heard. So I don't know if anybody watched it. I'm sure you didn't learn anything, but a great story. And then, of course, this is now routine. The Australian media like shows up and they do like a story on, or some people from Australia show up and they do like a story on him. And they go to the game on Saturday night and he doesn't get in. And I believe that was the last game that his parents were in town, because they were in town for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, you
Like
don't just
leading-
come in for a weekend.
Yeah,
when
because
do
you're
that.
from Australia
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard to get here.
They were at Arrowhead. They saw him punt.
It takes like 2 entire days basically to get here, just from a travel perspective. So yeah, you're going to want to stay for a few weeks. And they did. And they went to 2 games. And one of them was Saturday night and Archie didn't punt.
During the broadcast, his parents did not seem to care.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
They were like, yeah, I'm paraphrasing. They're like, yeah, we were told this is good if he doesn't come in the game.
Okay.
It means they're winning.
Okay. So, all right, good. I'm glad that was how it was approached.
His dad seemed like a fun bloke.
Nice, Josh. Well done.
I'm trying to meet him halfway.
Omaha's Best emails in.
Hi, Omaha's Best.
The email back. Omaha Best. Yeah, look
Glad
at that.
I called that guy.
Nebraska. Okay, so subject line: Akron ain't that bad, and Nebraska ain't that good. But paying millions for a blow up explains a lot about the fake game. And the Akron's coach postgame comments were comical. He is a clown, but got a huge Husker payoff. Michigan and the Big Ten can't be bought, so hang on for the normal Husker wild ride, GBR. What do you think about that email, Josh? A lot going on in there.
There was a lot, yes.
I think this person is generally right about
the last point. Seems,
actually, Akron is probably that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, Michigan will be a different level of competition. I agree with that point.
Good take. Good take.
I did the research last week. Nebraska has paid many a school $1.4 million to play a game of football.
It's usually not that much, right? Or is it
correct?
Yeah, because it's usually
on the high side.
Yeah, usually the going rate is around. It's probably up now, but it's like $1 million to 1.2 somewhere in that range. They kicked in a little bit more, but whatever.
There's a couple of 1.4s out
there. They took their butt kick. And the question is, when does Akron score a point for the first time since 2 days before Thanksgiving? Time will only tell. Josh.
Maybe never.
Maybe never. They did suck. I mean, they were truly bad.
They didn't respect Nebraska, though.
They weren't just bad because they were overmatched. They were just straight up bad.
Yeah.
Like Houston Christian, they're going to get smoked because they're overmatched, but I don't know if they're a bad football team or not. You know what I mean? Like, being a bad football team means you don't do anything right. Akron was both overmatched and wasn't doing anything right. Like, that team was bad. That's how you get beat 68-0. Quick couple minutes here before we get to the polls. We have not talked about much, although we've mentioned it in passing a couple times, the beer sales in Memorial Stadium and how they went. I don't know how they went from a numbers perspective, but I do know that there was a lot of people waiting in line for a very long time. This is one of the emerging stories from the weekend that
at
Nebraska's first game selling booze, it was maybe a little bit of a challenge. So they added some extra security. I did notice when I was walking over to get my credential when Maddie and Tay went on. So that would have been about 4:50. 4:50, so an hour and a half before the game. The stadium lines to get in were long. They usually move them in pretty quick, and people come in throughout the 2 hours in which they open up the gates. So it's rare that the stadium line to get into the game, the gate line to get into the game is that long, unless it's directly before the game starts. So this is at 4:45, 5 o'clock, and I did notice that it was taking a little bit longer. The digital tickets it's been a transition right over the last year or so. And so it was, I think, a long day for a lot of people on Saturday. But I do want to say this. It was the first game, meaning it was the first game for everybody. Nebraska has a new concessions provider, obviously, and there's different things going on inside the stadium. And because you're selling alcohol, you need to crack down a little bit more on security. And there was the presence of don't read the story in the Daily Nebraskan about the presence of the SWAT team. They were, yeah.
Imagine having never been to a sporting event before.
I think I would like to exercise some calm here, Josh. I think this will straighten out a bit naturally.
How mature of you.
It was the first game. People, and by people, I mean Nebraska fans, are used to doing the same thing over and over again since like 1970. And
They call in every week and tell us how long they've been doing
it
this.
had been that, and there had been very little changes over that period of time. It's been 50 years since there was last change. Now there's change. They're selling booze. You're scanning your tickets. It's different. You can't come in and go out anymore unless you want to leave for good. There's no reentry into the stadium. People would be standing out there on the street. If you sit in that corner down there where it's easy exit and easy back in, you can't do it anymore. So it's different. People will adjust. The people inside the building will adjust. You will adjust. I also do think adding the Hawkers in might actually help quite a bit. The Hawkers.
I feel like it could help.
Yeah. This is nice. It would be maybe just a couple.
Maybe try it.
Just a couple Hawkers. But I don't know what they're worried about. They're worried about because they didn't want to hire really young kids, and those are clearly the only people who want to do it.
Well, you got to be X amount of age to sell, right? 19?
Well, according to Aramark, but not according to the people who are operating the concessions before Memorial Stadium. There was 12-year-olds doing that.
But to sell alcohol.
No, but I'm not talking about selling booze. I'm talking about selling Runzas, pizza, and Pepsi.
So those people aren't in the line, so the beer drinkers can
right.
be okay.
Wouldn't that alleviate a little bit?
Yeah, I would think so. Naturally.
Yeah. So maybe find some hawkers and see if they can start hawking again.
Bring back the hawkers.
I am saying bring back the hawkers. Not because I feel bad for the hawkers because they've lost their jobs, but because I think it would alleviate a lot of the pressure inside of the guts of the stadium.
Aaron on Twitter.
Hi, Aaron.
That is why new restaurants have a friends and family night or a soft open so they can work out kinks.
There's no such thing as a soft Nebraska football game. It does not exist.
Would be incredible. Hey, it's a soft open.
There's no such thing as a soft Nebraska.
I mean, I guess that's the practice, right? The open practice.
No, but you can't. There's just no way to simulate it. There's no way you could scale it. You would never know. Like they were all worried when we were doing the Cornhusker kickoff. They're like, "Oh man, are people going to show up?" Of course, people are going to show up. It's a Nebraska football event at a Nebraska football facility on a Nebraska football game day. Of course, people are going to show up. They're like, "Oh man, are you really think so?" I'm like, "Yeah." They were at capacity within, an hour of the thing starting. There was a steady line of people rushing into the building the entire Cornhusker kickoff event. So yes, people are going to show up no matter what. All right, Josh, we're almost out of here. Before we get to the polls, what was that phone call about? Was it to set me straight on what's going on in the stands?
Caller had a theory that the removal of hawkers was because they're going cashless.
Well, but you could give the hawkers credit card machines.
I would agree.
But yes, it is. All the transactions are cashless everywhere
on Earth, not just in football stadiums.
That's true. Unless you want to tip a guy. You don't mind when you tip a guy.
Is cash still king?
No. We learned that in a poll question on Friday. Just one poll question today, from what I'm reading.
So sportsy.
Are you better than Miller Lite?
I forgot I did that.
No, I'm not better. I'm not better than a Miller Lite, but I do appreciate a beer that is better than a Miller Lite. Just like I'm not better than going to McDonald's, but I would love to eat at Fogo de Chao.
Exactly.
58.5% say no.
Whoa.
Oh wait, no, that was
there's two poll questions.
Okay. So the first poll question actually, that are the Bills America's best drug? 58.5% say no. And then, are you better than Miller Lite? 64.5% say yes. Those interesting results today on the poll questions.
Uppity audience.
All right. What are we watching? This has been an odd show.
Very.
Our breaks have been everywhere. Matt Rhule talked for 100 hours.
About blood moons and war.
Blood moons and war.
You got to watch out. If we're going to war and Matt Rhule knows before us.
By the way, TC says
Hi, TC.
they should have John Tapper from Bar Rescue at the football game.
When I was picking up
Great
the phone, that's what I was thinking. Like, just the way something you said triggered John Taffer in my head.
Great take.
I got a stress test Memorial Stadium.
That would be. I mean, you got about 6 or 7 a year.
Yeah. Tonight we're watching Monday Night Football, of course.
Oh yes.
People forget.
I'm not watching the Manning cast until
Well,
a clip arrives to my doorstep.
I will tell you about that next. Vikings Bears tonight, 7:15 on ABC or ESPN. You can listen to it right here on 1620 The Zone, assuming everyone does their job at Westwood One correctly. The Manning cast will be airing on ESPN2 at that same time. The guests today include Bill Murray, Saquon Barkley, and Randy Moss. Good get, Eli.
Yep.
Baseball on our TVs, Mets and Phillies, 5:45 on MLB Network. Diamondbacks Giants, 8:45 on FS1. 6 o'clock on KETV. That's Channel 7. The season 42 premiere of Jeopardy! For the first time since the mid-90s, Jeopardy! And Wheel of Fortune will air back-to-back on the same network locally as the quiz show makes the jump from Channel 6 to Channel 7.
Okay.
And finally, at 8 o'clock tonight on A&E, Secrets of the Celebrity Sex Tapes.
Now,
the 8-part docuseries revisits some of the most infamous celebrity sex tapes of our time, including Pamela Anderson, Kim Kardashian, Colin Farrell, Council Bluffs' own Farrah Abraham, and something called Mimi Faust. I'm not familiar with that one.
I've only ever heard of one sex tape. And
okay, which one is that?
The Ray J. Kim K.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't know that Council Bluffs' own Farrah Abraham?
Who is Farrah Abraham?
She was on Teen Mom. She hawks spaghetti sauce.
Oh, her. Oh, she had a sex. I did not know that.
Yes.
No. All right. Not for me, Josh.
Nope. Gonna pass on that one. 8-part docuseries.
Too many parts.
Yeah.
Also, people are saying in the chat that there was hawkers. I need to go out and spend some time with the people.
Yes, you do.
Too busy up in my
Ivory Tower.
With
Maddie and Tay.
Eating
and popcorn.
Delicious hamburgers.
Night coffee.
All right, that's it. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.